Hey there, welcome to The Player's Take, Episode 5. The Player's Take is our weekly podcast where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to games. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone. I'm joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
We post every week on Tuesdays at 6 a.m. Central Time, and let's jump right in, man. Yeah. So, what you been playing?
Well, I've still been playing Tales of Vesperia. Man, I'm like backlogged on games. So I still didn't finish God of War. But
I don't even want to talk about the backlog.
Yeah, man, I'm backlogged, and then on top of that,
you stopped playing God of War,
man,
for Tales.
Because Tales is portable. That's why.
Okay, fair. That's
Tales
fair.
is portable.
That's a fair point.
And I've been going back and forth between my girlfriend's house, so Tales is portable.
100%.
So,
okay.
Yeah, that, and then League of Legends started up a new season, so the climb is back. Gotta get that crack.
fucking Jesus, man. Okay, well, on the same front, I've been playing Dota. I played a little Dota 2. I played it with a friend of mine who I got into the game a few years ago. But he's become obsessed with Turbo Mode, which is a thing they added like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Which is like a condensed version of Dota where it takes about 20 minutes or 25 minutes to play most games. You level like twice as fast. You get twice as much gold from kills and creep kills and shit. So the game's like really fast. And I'm going to be honest, I really do not like it. It completely throws the balance off, obviously. I mean, everything's like sped up so much.
Yeah.
But it throws the balance off a lot. It really invalidates like supports because honestly your carries get up and running so quickly that you don't even really need supports for the most part. Like you need them early, but that's about it. Like if your carries kind of get a steam like a roll going, they're gone. Like they're not going to get caught, you know. So I didn't really like it from that perspective. It was nice to get like 6 or 7 games in about 3 hours, which is impossible normally, but it kind of made me sad because my friend's like obsessed with this mode. Like ever since it came out, this is all he plays now in Dota. Like he told me that he went back and played normal mode and he hates it. Like he can't stand it because it's so slow. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like I was like excited to play with him too, but it's like I don't really want to play Turbo, like you know. So I don't know. So I'm still gonna try to get you to play it with me. We played a little PUBG too. We were trying out the Vikendi night mode that just came out on the test server.
It needs to be a lot darker.
It needs to be way darker. It defeats the purpose of night. Like it's like not even there. It doesn't even matter. Like you can see everything. There's no vision obscurity really, and they got this aurora borealis in the sky. It's like they put everything that's like, you know, nighttime, like all the cool shit at night and put it in this map. And it's like
I mean, because obviously it's like way up north, but you've been to Alaska, so is it really that lit up at night when it?
I didn't really experience it, but from what I understand, yeah, it's pretty lit up. Like when it gets like really light, but they made it like so obnoxious though.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's everywhere. Like every direction you look, you can see it, and it's super bright. And it kind of makes things a little too bright, obviously.
Yeah.
Because the appeal of night mode to me is it changes the gameplay, right? That's kind of the whole point of the mode, in my opinion, is that you want it to be dark, hard to see people, and you can put new items in the game with that, with like infrared or something like that, or thermal, you know, kind of goggles or something like that, or night vision goggles.
Yeah.
You know, you could put that in the game, and they haven't seemingly put anything like that in there.
Yeah,
I could see them doing it, but
like a flashlight, like you can see everything.
Yeah, or like a flashlight. Yeah, exactly, something like that. And I think it's really bare bones right now, which is how PUBG always does things. They never do anything. They don't whole ass anything.
Just to let you know, night mode has been on the cell phone version for about a year now.
That's true. I do remember them adding that. I think they added it on Erangel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they haven't brought that to PC at all. No. It's because the PC fucking fan base, a bunch of crybabies. They cry about the weather. They cry about the fucking...
They cried about the weather?
Yeah, dude. They took weather out of the game for a few months because people hated it. Like, they took fog out, like... Because Erangel would... Before they did dynamic weather, Erangel would spawn in certain states, so it would be like the sunny version that you usually get now.
Yeah.
Or it would spawn where it's raining the entire game, you know? And it's
I like that.
Yeah. And then there were other times where it would be foggy the entire game, so your vision's really obscured. It's hard to see people. Streamers started complaining about it because it's like they can't hear people, they can't see people. Like they feel like their ability to play is hindered, and it's like
that's the point.
That's the point of it. It's supposed to change the way you play. It's supposed to change the style of the game, right? And people complained about it, so they took it out, and then they added dynamic weather when Sunhawk kind of came out.
Yeah,
and they started rolling it out, and they've kind of rolled it out to all the maps. But I do like the dynamic weather, but I
feel like it doesn't come frequently enough.
It doesn't come frequently enough, and it doesn't make enough of an impact. Like, it happens. The fog's cool when it rolls in because we can take advantage of it sometimes.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of move into a place you normally wouldn't be able to, because your people's vision is so obscured. But yeah, I wish the weather had more of an impact. I think it's kind of annoying that the fan base is so. They act like they're all pros. Like they like I can't hear people when it's raining. Well, duh, it's raining, dude. Like, that's the point of the rain being there. Like, it's supposed to make you have to pay more attention, like, to where you're looking, you know? You have to pay attention to things that normally you might not have to because you can hear it.
I personally like that because it is a give or take thing, but, like, you can use that to your advantage. You can move a lot more when you're raining and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. You can be a little bit less careful. Yeah. Like, you can be more careless with sprinting or just walking upright, because people can't hear you as well. So I like that. It's nice. It gives you a little bit of strategy that you can add into the game. So I hate the way that everybody wants the game to be like vanilla. Like, let them do stuff like this, you know? Like, I think that's why they're afraid to make night mode like too crazy, because I think they don't want people to hate it.
About it.
Yeah, people are going to bitch about it, but it's like, what's the point of having it? It's just like the sky's dark. Okay, what's the difference then, you know?
I mean, like, especially for, like, Battle Royale, like, realistic survival games like that, I think that needs that element of, like, weather surprise and stuff like that. I want to hear, like, puddles on the ground and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, you know, fan base, hopefully get another game that, you know, the fan base isn't as restrictive.
Yeah, they're more willing to adapt.
Yeah.
Right. Because I have that same problem with people who play MOBAs sometimes, where they're not willing to adapt. They just think their strategy is going to work every game. Yeah. And they're unwilling to change their strategy in the middle of a game. You know, and that shit annoys me too. The last thing I've been playing is Shining Force 2. So I haven't been playing much this week, but I have been playing Shining Force because similar to you with Vesperia, it's mobile, it's on my phone.
Yeah.
And god damn it, I love this game. This game is so good, dude. Like, I've been playing it on super mode, which is the hardest difficulty that it's not the hardest difficulty in the game, but it's the actual hardest difficulty in reality, because the mode above this, so this version, like super mode, increases all enemies' base attack values by 25%, which is really significant in this game. And the mode above this doesn't, for some reason. It supposedly makes the AI smarter, but it's not smart enough to counteract the 25% in terms of difficulty, from what I read. So I've been playing it on super, and it's fairly difficult. Like, your characters kind of get killed a lot faster. Like, they die in 2 hits a lot of the time for a large portion of the game. So you really have to be cognizant of your strategy a lot of the time, which is not the case in normal. It's a little too easy, I always felt like. So I'm really enjoying it, though. I'm really digging this. Like, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'd probably say I'm about a third of the way through the game.
Okay.
I'd say. It's a big-ass game, too, compared to the first game. Like, it's a legitimate RPG. Like, this game takes a lot more time. I'd put it in the range of 30, 40 hours, probably, all told. Right. But worth a play. I would say... I don't even know if I'd recommend Shining Force 1 to anyone. I honestly would just say jump into 2. Like, I think it's that much better. Like, it's just like 1 might turn you off enough. Like, it's rough enough where I think it could turn you off from wanting to play 2. And 2 is just vastly superior. They make the controls way better. Like, in 1, if you wanted to open a chest, you had to, like, click into a menu and then go down and, like, do a search and like click another button. So you had to like click 3 buttons to search for a chest. In this game, you can just click 1 button and it does the search for you. There was another thing too, is that if you searched for a in a chest and got an item, and your main character's inventory was full, and it's only 4 slots, 1 for the weapon and then 3 other slots that he can carry like healing stuff in. If his inventory was full, you couldn't pick the item up. You had to move something from his inventory to somebody else's, then pick the item up, and then your inventory was full again, so you had to keep like cycling things out of his inventory. Shining Force 2 got rid of that. If your main character's inventory was full, it would just keep going until it found somebody that had an open slot, and just put it in their inventory. So cool. There were a few convenience features that made the game a lot more playable.
Some nice little quality of life changes.
Yeah, some quality of life things. So I highly recommend this game if you like strategy RPGs. Okay, so that's pretty much it for what we're playing. I think we're kind of both gearing up for Kingdom Hearts this coming week. So let's get into the news. So the first story came out today. This was a big surprise. I haven't had a lot of time to think about it really, but
let's get this one out the way first. Anthem's gone gold.
Man, I mean, what do you... You just, like, destroy my momentum. You motherfucker.
All right, now you can go.
No, but I mean, fuck it. You already did it. Yeah, Anthem's gone gold. Great. Awesome. I'm so happy for them. They have a demo. I don't even know why I put this in. I don't know why I agreed to put this story in, because I don't care. Like,
yeah, that's why I got out the way.
Okay, great. Let me delete it. I should just delete it out of the doc. Okay. The story I actually want to talk about. This came out today in Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo announced this in a video that Metroid Prime 4 has basically been scrapped in its current iteration, is going to be built from the ground up by a new team at Retro Studios, which is the same guys, or the same studio that made Metroid Prime's 1, 2, 3.
And the new Donkey Kong
yes,
games.
And Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is the last game they made that was released in 2013, I think, on the Wii U.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, what were your initial thoughts with this news?
I'm actually happy. I mean, I'm not... I'm happy. I'm happy because they were honest with this. I think a lot of more companies should take advantage, or not take advantage, but should do this. Especially Western developers, they have this tendency to not be upfront with the consumers. I mean, if you're gonna scrap a game or anything like that, just tell us, like, hey, this is the reason why we're doing this. I mean, some people will be pissy about it, but at least you're being upfront with the customer about it. And this is what Nintendo did. They said, hey, we know you guys been waiting on this game. We didn't think it was really good. It didn't meet our expectations, so we're scrapping it and we're going back to retro. And I think, as a fan of the series and a fan of Nintendo, that's like the best thing. And gaming, it's the best thing you can do. I'd rather you release a game or delay a game than release a crappy game that you try to rush out the door. As we can see this year, a couple of crappy games that came out that could have been put back in the vault for a couple more years to get worked on, but didn't. I mean, Battlefield 5 is one of those where it used to be one of those games where, people will release it, or DICE would work on it for a while before they try to do the annual release that Call of Duty does. So I'm just happy that they did that, and they were upfront with the customers. They didn't try to hide it or anything like that.
So while I agree with most of what you said, I do commend Nintendo for being upfront about this and just telling us, instead of going silent for 5 years because they canceled the game 2 years in and then redid the whole thing, and we have no idea if this game's coming out in 5 years. I do appreciate it from that perspective. However, I do think we're a little bit too quick to throw praise on them. I mean, this is a failure. They've wasted 2 years of development basically on this game, because this was announced at E3 2017, and I presumably they had been working on it a little bit before that reveal had happened. So it's probably around 2 years since they've started working on this, and it's like, as much as I'm okay, I agree with the sentiment that I'd rather them cancel this game and start it over and make a quality game than release something that's trash. It's still at the end of the day, they wasted 2 years. It's we're going to have to wait even longer for this game now.
I mean, like I said, I don't mind waiting, though.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, but I just don't mind waiting.
But for a Metroid super fan, that's not me. I'm not a Metroid super fan.
I am.
But for a Metroid super fan, I can understand if they're upset, because this is probably one of their most anticipated games, and now it's just okay, when's this coming out? Because to me, it's a big question for me is is this even going to be a Switch game?
I think it is. I mean, you think they were going to release another game between now and or another console between now and 2020 or 2022?
Because if I'm being honest, I think 2021 is the earliest we could see this game. I think that's ambitious though, because that's 2 years from now.
Yeah,
and December, if they released it say in November, that's basically 3 years from now.
I mean, but they did this with Breath of the Wild.
They did, yeah. And so yeah, what I'm thinking is this could be a Breath of the Wild situation where they put this game on ice for a while, and just make it as good as possible, and they dual release it on Switch and whatever the next Nintendo piece of hardware is. If Nintendo does come out with a piece of hardware within that time frame, within the next 4 or 5 years, which I kind of feel like they have to. Obviously, the Switch isn't going to last forever, right? And the other question I have though that really came out of this, and this is way more important for me, is what the fuck has Retro been working on for 5 years that all of a sudden they're taking this game? They must be they're either splitting the studio in half or doing some kind of split team thing.
Yeah,
and one team's going to be, I imagine, would be a pretty small team getting this started. and then the other team is working on whatever they're working on, or the other option is that they're canceling whatever Retro's been working on, or whatever Retro's been working on is imminent and is coming out soon. Like, those are really the only options I see, and it's like we've had no idea what they've been working on. There's been literally no news out of the studio.
To be honest with you, I didn't know. I heard that Retro wasn't working on Metroid Prime 4, but I just thought they maybe had some kind of inclusion because they did define that series and what it is.
I mean, they may have in some consultative. I don't even know what I'm saying.
They may have consulted.
They may have consulted with the studio that Nintendo was working on.
Yeah, I mean, because Nintendo was working with Namco Bandai and Lucas, a division of LucasArts, the people that made 1313. So,
yes. Yeah.
If you guys know what 1313 is, the cancel Star Wars game, don't get me started on that rant. But anyway, yeah. So I still want to see. I feel bad for that team though, that LucasArts team.
I do. Yeah.
Every game it seems like they work on, it gets fucking canceled. Fuck, dude, and that's a really talented team. So I do feel bad for them, but
yeah, no, it's like sad on that front, and I don't know. It's a weird one because it's like bittersweet, right? Because it's like it's good that Nintendo's being upfront. It's good that they're dedicated to making a quality game. They don't want to release a shitty game like the way people perceive Other M to be, or Metroid.
Christ,
what was it? Federation Force or whatever that came out. Like
when that shit came out, that's when like the internet had a mini explosion. That game came out.
So it's good that they're not going to make that game or those level of games out of this. They want to make something good, but at the same time, it's sad for those developers that have been working on this.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Because that's just also like taken away from them, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I'm like weird. I'm in a weird place with Metroid because the only Metroid I've ever really liked is Metroid Prime 1. Yeah. I never played 2. I never played 3. And I don't like Super Metroid that much. And most of the other Metroids I played have never really drawn me in.
I recommend you play Fusion, Zero Mission. Zero Mission is a remake of Metroid, Super Metroid. So if you didn't like Super Metroid, they remade it, and they made it a lot more viable. I'll say.
Yeah, because I feel like Samus controls really poorly in that game.
Yeah. So I mean, that's actually a valid complaint.
Yeah.
And Zero Mission is that game, but like quality of life changes and better animation and everything. They actually did some of the landscapes.
What
and everything.
Can you play that on?
Game Boy Advance.
Okay, I'll try to find a copy in the fucking bargain bin of some local game store.
So Game Boy Advance, and both of those games are on Game Boy Advance actually. Okay, and then you can play Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, if you like Castlevania, like it's got that Metro. It's that.
I've never played those either. Gonna be honest with you. I don't. Okay, I'm a weird person because I love Mega Man X and Mega Man Zero, but dude, like platformers nowadays, I 2D platform, I can't do them anymore, man. Really? They don't hold my attention for the most part. I guess it's just the thing is I haven't played a lot of the good ones though, so I think I'm not being fair to the genre.
Yeah,
it's just like a lot of the ones I've played have been bad. So
I mean, if you play a lot of the indie ones, they're bad. In my opinion.
And there's a few, I have a list on my phone of games I want to buy and play, and a lot of them are these 2D Metroidvanias that have come out in the last like 6 months, like Dead Cells and
Dead Cells is actually a good one.
There was another one called Time Turner or something that came out that looked pretty cool.
The other one, I don't know about that one. I know another one's like Hollow Knight. That's really
Hollow
good.
Knight, yeah, that was another one I heard about. So, I mean, dude, I've never even played Symphony of the Night though, so it's like I don't know. I don't want to like give the genre too much shit because I haven't played a lot of the best ones.
So I'll be honest with you. I didn't start playing Castlevania games until like the last 5 years because no, I'm gonna be honest with you. So like my grandma,
dude, I just admitted I haven't played a lot of them.
My grandma, but mine's like different, right? So my grandma was like super religious. So if I had bought Castlevania when I was younger and played it in her house, she probably would have freaked the fuck out. Like,
oh my god,
yeah. So.
Oh man.
I had to sneak and buy like Resident Evil games and Devil May Cry. I had to sneak and buy that game and shit like that because it had double in the title. And, you know, so. But what about this Crosscode game? I haven't heard of that, so you can tell me about that.
I just saw this when we were looking for stories, and so this is a game that's been on my radar. It came out on PC last year. It's a game. It's basically like you're playing a MMO essentially, but you're playing the character of somebody within the world of the game, and you're playing like you would an MMO. Like, you have friends in real life that get on every night, and you play, you group up with them, and you do, like, dungeon runs and quests and shit. And it just looks pretty cool. I haven't actually played it. It just looked cool to me, and I'm excited to see it. It got announced that it's coming to Switch in 2019, so I'm planning on picking this up and playing it.
Oh, looking at it as like a top-down.
Yeah, it's like a top-down, kind of like the old, the old Phantasy Stars?
Yeah.
Sort of like that. That's kind of what it looks like.
It reminds me of Zelda: A Link to the Past.
Yeah, something like that too. Yeah. It's like isometric, but it's like a 2D. It's like sprites.
Yeah.
So it's not like a 3D game. So it looks pretty cool. I'm gonna check it out.
Oh yeah, you do have a party. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So looks like an interesting one. And our last story this week in the news. This one, man, this one's fun. So we were talking about EA last week. They canceled a Star Wars game, and Jason Schreier is all up on Twitter all the time talking to people, and people like to ask him questions and posit things to him. And he replied to somebody about KOTOR 3 on Twitter. This actually happened like a week ago from when we're recording.
Yeah.
So this is the quote. Somebody asks him. They actually don't even ask him a question. They just mentioned KOTOR and said that KOTOR had a great scoundrel protagonist.
Yeah.
But his reply is, they've tried to make it happen. They being, BioWare.
Yeah.
BioWare Austin. More than once from what I've heard, no luck. That is it. That is all he says. I don't think he says anything else in relation to this tweet. And this like blew up. This like turned into a thing. Like this entered the news cycle. This tweet from Jason Schreier, where he literally says what I just said to you guys. Like, he says this, and this entered the news cycle. YouTubers were making videos on this. News sites were actually writing articles about this, and it's just, it was like, and he called this out later.
My whole rant was about that one too.
But he talks about this later, and he says, I quote, "A bunch of sites and YouTubers have published entire stories about this tweet, making a tweet saying that BioWare has tried to make KOTOR 3. Nobody actually reached out to me, but if they had, I'd tell them that this isn't news. Devs pitch dream projects all the time." And this is a funny situation because, yeah, it's like what he's saying is 100% true. Like, we're way too desperate for news in games, it seems like, because this is an obvious thing that companies, like, devs pitch shit all the time. Of course they do.
I still think EA deserves that shit. But you're right.
I think this is really unfair to EA because this spawned this whole news cycle.
What's unfair?
No.
What's unfair?
Dude,
two badass Star Wars games within the last fucking 4 years. But you know what? I understand where you're going with this.
Let me make my point. Let me make my point because, dude, this generated an entire extra news cycle about people hating on EA because they're mean and don't let BioWare make KOTOR 3. Like, dude, maybe the pitches were shit. Maybe it doesn't make sense with what they're making. Maybe they don't have the resources to dedicate time to make a game like this. There's a million reasons why EA would turn this down, you know? Like, maybe they don't want to inundate the market with Star Wars games and they already have a bunch in the works. Like, we've known of a few of them. So there's plenty of reasons that make sense why they wouldn't want to make KOTOR 3. And I think it's been really unfair to EA. People are just dogpiling on them. It's just so reductive. People just go, EA bad, Star Wars, they're fucking up Star Wars, EA's bad. Like, okay, yes, EA is not a great company. They make a lot of mistakes. I don't like them. I think they're a big reason why a lot of the industry has the issues it has right now with microtransactions and the way we, talk about games and the way companies approach making games.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think a lot of that comes from them. But at the same time, we have to be fair. Like, this is literally a tweet from a reporter, Jason Schreier, who's well respected within the industry. He has a lot of sources and sources his stuff very well. He's a real journalist, like one of the only ones in the industry.
But we don't have we're real journalists. I can't.
Well, so
today.
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to go with this. Is like, people are writing articles on news sites about nothing they have sources on. It's literally just him spitballing in a tweet, about something that he's heard about,
Well, this goes back to like our first episode. I think we talked about this. How people don't want to shake the table. People don't want to shake the table. Like shake the goddamn table.
Is that going to be a thing? Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
No,
but
it's not.
It is a thing. It's a thing. You gotta shake the goddamn table because
please don't shake the table.
Shake the table. You're a journalist. You're supposed to shake the table. They shake the table all the time.
I meant the literal table.
Oh, okay.
This table can't handle you shaking it.
Yeah, of course. Jesus Christ. Anyway, but I mean, like journalists, do all this investigating. I mean, okay, video games aren't important. It is important as politics, but people do this all the time. They shake the table with like Trump and stuff like that. But like when it comes to like video games, even cars, like they break news all the time with like different car stuff and everything like that. But when it comes to video games, it just seems like everyone wants to keep their perks. Like, oh, I don't want to mess up EA
there's a conflict of interest happening because these companies, these review sites get their games for free.
Yeah,
that they review from publishers, and I mean, obviously, there's an incentive for them to keep that relationship good. So you don't want to piss them off. So you may not be as harsh on a game as you would normally be because like for us, we have nothing tying us to any of these companies. We have no ties to any of these journalists. We don't have ties to any of the developers, publishers, nothing. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I don't care. I'm going to tell the truth.
But more journalists should be like that. We did have that before, but for some reason either they're all retired or they're just gone now,
Yeah. Well, we have examples of companies bullying outlets too. Like Bethesda did it for a couple of years where they were giving out copies of their games like a day before release so that they didn't have to deal with leaks or anything like that. And it was like a power play for them. And I feel like the publishers have too much power in this relationship. I think the media outlets should just eat the cost and buy the games,
They should.
And I think a lot of it falls on us, though, as consumers of this stuff, that we need to be okay with a review of a game coming out a week after it's come out,
Yeah.
Because I think there's way too much ravenous... there's too many people who are just ravenous for this information that they want it the second it comes out, so everybody's racing to get their fucking review out right at the embargo. And I don't feel like that creates an environment where people make quality or write quality articles.
Well, I listen to music reviews, and this is why I like music reviews better than like video game reviews and stuff like that. Even like when I watch like Angry Joe, sometimes he gets his videos out before the game comes out or even of that nature.
But he's an example of somebody who's got bad relationships with a lot of publishers.
Yeah, but I'm saying like for the point I'm trying to prove, like you can start a discussion with your review and people build dialogue with that. Like when I listen to a review of like the latest J. Cole album, I listened to it for a week already. Then my favorite YouTuber, that group has already listened to it already, and I can like either agree with them or disagree with them in the comments, but I still want to listen to them because I value their opinion as a consumer of music. So like if I'm a consumer of video games, and if like say like Angry Joe or somebody else does a review in a video game, or let's just say for instance IGN does a review in a video game that came out like a week or two after the game was released, it can start dialogue in the comments like people will have experienced the game at that point. Exactly. Right? And they can like, well, have you guys thought about this or whatever, and that builds a fan base, and that fan base
it fosters a community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I do agree with you that the reviewer thing is, killing the industry, or the perks are killing the industry.
Well, think about it. Think about this too. Is what I was saying about the quality of the review. Right, you're rushing to finish a game in a short time window, so you're either not sleeping, like you're depriving yourself of sleep. You're not interacting with people. You're not living your life normally, like you normally would, which is going to put you in a stressful situation. And you're not consuming the media in a natural way either, because you're rushing so much that things are going by so fast. You know, that you're probably not taking these events in as clearly as you would normally, you know, if you're playing in short 3 or 4 hour spurts, you know. So when you write your review, you may miss critical information, you may forget critical information, you may not write it in a way you would. It may not be as naturally written as it would have been if you had experienced the game over a 2-week period after it's out.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? So I just don't think, I don't care about reviews because of this, because I don't feel like I don't trust their quality. I don't. Like, I just don't. Some games, fine. I mean, they're 10 hours and you can beat that in a day and you can write a fine review. But a game like Kingdom Hearts is a good example. Like,
the reviews are already out for that game.
Yeah, and it's like 60 hours, probably more. Like, in a game like that, you can't do that in 4 days and actually experience it in a meaningful way. Yeah, you're going to miss stuff. You're rushing so much because you have a deadline, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I watch, or, you know, I watch or listen to, like, different music reviewers, because they pick up on stuff that I didn't even listen to. I'm like, oh, I didn't even hear that. I didn't hear that the first time. Well, that's an interesting point from their perspective or whatever. Yeah. If we're going to treat video games as in quote-unquote art, we need to treat it like that and understand that people are going to have different perspectives on this piece of art, and you can't rush that out within 2 days. I don't want to know what the game's about before I get my hands on it to consume it.
That's the other point of spoilers, right? Is that spoilers become a severe concern because all these sites are posting their reviews, and some of them are more careless than others in what they talk about.
Exactly.
Right? And I hate that because I'm probably going to go on media blackout after today. Like, I don't want to hear anything about Kingdom Hearts 3, and I don't.
I'm already there.
But the thing is, I'm not even going to go on Twitter anymore. Like, I don't want to see those random comments of somebody spoiling something from Kingdom Hearts 3 before the game's even fucking out. You know,
well, I have it where you can set it up where Kingdom Hearts doesn't even show up on my timeline.
Yeah, it's like muted or whatever. Yeah, I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy to figure that shit out. I don't give a shit. Yeah. I'd rather just turn the app off. But yeah, so I think this situation, we went down a rabbit hole, but I feel like this situation is just emblematic of that stuff where these sites, they don't go deep by themselves. They just regurgitate what other people do, you know? Like, and Jason Schreier's one of these people who, dude, he writes articles and then a million other sites. Every time he writes an article, like 5 or 6, 7, dozens of sites are fucking quoting him and writing their own article about it.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, the sites kind of did it to themselves when they went to war with gamers a couple years back. And ever since then, I feel like gaming sites in general have been, like, not on a decline, but people really don't take them seriously.
Well, no, they're on a decline for sure.
And ever since that, though, I feel like it's been a decline, or people just don't take them seriously anymore, because they're always inserting their opinions into pieces that, if you're going to write an opinion piece, cool, but like when they're reporting articles and stuff like that, then you're not supposed to put your opinion in it. You're supposed to just write it like a journalist, you know. So, I don't know. That's all I really got to say about this. I mean, we can go to more next week, but we got some good stuff to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting thing to watch play out. But okay, moving on. The list of new games this coming week. So there's a decent amount of stuff. So let's just go through it. So we got Rico on Nintendo Switch, Genesis Alpha 1 on PC, PS4, Xbox One, the console, the complete edition on PS4 and Xbox One, Earth Atlantis on PC, My Little Riding Champion on Nintendo Switch.
Oh, snap. First day buy.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
PlanetSide Arena on PC.
Look at them graphics. Look at that horse. Look at his majestic hair.
He's stuck on the My Little Riding Champion. Mages of Mistralia on Nintendo Switch. Air Conflicts Collection on Nintendo Switch. Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy on Nintendo Switch. It looks kind of old. I mean, that graphic looks like 90s shit right there.
I think I remember.
That reminds me of like Lands of Lore or something like that, like those old PC games. But Unworthy on Nintendo Switch, Mage's Initiation on PC, Sunless Skies on PC, Mac, and Linux. Earhart, Tales of Broken Wings, Nintendo Switch. Dragon Marked for Death, Advanced Attackers, Nintendo Switch. Dragon Marked for Death, Frontline Fighters, Nintendo Switch. Necrosphere Deluxe, PS4, PS Vita, and Nintendo Switch. Downwell on Nintendo Switch, Roterra on iPad, Zombie Night Terror on Nintendo Switch.
The game that rivals Resident Evil.
Egg, the platform puker on Nintendo Switch.
It literally has like 5 G's in it. In the title.
War Groove on Nintendo Switch.
Ooh,
and
cool.
Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS4 and Xbox One. Anything besides Kingdom Hearts that jumps out to you? I know you think My Little Riding Champion sounds dope. I hope you play it.
It's like the best.
Please
it's the
buy
best
it.
game.
Please buy it. Please buy it and play it. I want to hear your opinions on this game.
I will buy it and play it just for this podcast.
I don't feel like we play enough shitty games, so we probably should jump in and buy some garbage like that. Who knows? I'm being mean. Maybe it isn't garbage. But
hey, man, it may give you the riding champion experience that you've been waiting for all your life.
But yeah, I haven't heard of a lot of these games. The theme for me so far through 5 episodes is that Nintendo Switch has way too many games coming out on it. It's fucking insane. This is like half the list every single week. It's just ridiculous.
Look at the graphics.
Oh no. Do I need to click on this? Oh no! Is this like Life of Black Tiger shit?
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Hold
Look
on.
at the fucking graphics, bro.
Oh god!
This looks like The Sims, like made back in like 2005, bro.
We're looking at images on an audio podcast. Oh my god! He's not kidding! Holy shit! This looks terrible. Please buy this one, Trevor. Please buy this and play it. Please, dude. I have to know. I have to know. I have to fucking know.
This is about to be my game of the year.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh my god. I hope you buy it. I really hope you play it next, and we talk about this next week, because, dude, I wonder how much it costs, too.
Oh, if it's under, like, $50, I'll buy it. If it's like $60, I'm not buying this shit.
It can't be more than 10 or 15. It can't be. It can't be.
Hey, man.
It can't be.
Hey,
oh
man.
my god, no. Anyways, so yeah, nothing besides Kingdom Hearts, nothing really that I know of that I've heard of really coming out. I'm sure some of these games excite you guys, but I'm not super deep in the indie sphere, because I don't have time to really play these games, and there's just so many of them. Oh my god, it's crazy.
I still haven't played Undertale, so
yeah, I haven't either, dude. Like, and that game's everywhere. And Downwell, isn't that the follow up to Undertale?
I don't
know. Or not the follow up, but
like a side story or something like that.
Yeah, it was the same. I think the same guy.
Universe?
Same guy made it.
Oh, same guy. I don't know.
I think so. I may be misspeaking, but whatever. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So our topic of the show this week is Kingdom Hearts, not Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts as a whole.
Yeah, we're not talking about Kingdom Hearts 3. We're just talking about the whole...
We're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, we're going to talk about anticipation.
We're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. But why don't you go ahead and get us started?
Yeah, so I was introduced to the series. I think I saw it being played. Oh, this was like when they did like one of the early E3s or some shit like that. And I saw actually a magazine... in the Game Informer, I think I saw it, and this looks cool. The screenshots look cool. So this is how old I am. So, this is when you can go to the like GameStop, or I think it was still called Funko Land at the time.
EB Games, maybe.
EB Games. I actually went to EB Games
or Electronic Boutique.
Yeah, EB Electronic Boutique. Stores said
they were Electronic Boutique, and then they rebranded to EB Games at a certain point.
So when did Funko Land?
They were before.
When did they change their name to GameStop?
Oh boy, early 2000s, early aughts, whatever.
Okay, so it was still a couple of stores by my neighborhood.
Okay, I have a store. Yeah, I have a store that was in Saugus, and this store is still there. It's a GameStop now, but it was a Funko Land, and then it turned into an EB Games, and then it turned into GameStop, and it's been a GameStop ever since.
Okay,
but yeah I saw the whole transition.
So like this one, I think it was still probably GameStop, or I think it was Funko Land, but I know it was like really old. But you can test the games before you buy them. So I tested the game out.
Wait. I don't remember this. They would let you play.
Yeah,
like they had copies just open that they'd let people play and try.
You don't remember that?
I really don't, man.
They used to let us do that.
Fuck, dude.
They don't let us do it anymore.
Of course not.
But in the display, they used to have a display of like the PS2 and the GameCube, and you're like, hey, I want to test this game. Maybe it was just my store that did that, but
yeah,
I remember I was like, hey, can I test this game out before I bought it? Before I buy it, and they're like, yeah, sure. And they plugged it in, and I played it for like 2 minutes because that's a lot. They gave you like a 5-minute rule.
And then you heard Sanctuary, and you were like, "Man, I'm in, baby, I'm in."
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, this game probably looks cool." I've heard of I haven't played, and also another thing, I haven't played any Final Fantasy games to this point, besides 10, I think, because 10 came out before this, right? Yeah,
which actually was perfect because those are the characters you first meet, right?
So when I first started the game. Titus, however you pronounce his fucking name.
Don't say Titus. Don't.
People say Titus.
Don't be one of those people, dude. I hate this. This makes me so upset. It's not Titus. Just because some fucking character said that in a game, it's
so
not
right now.
It's so mind-boggling. It sounds so dumb.
Alright, so Titus.
Fucking Titus, man.
Alright, so Titus, Waka, and I forgot the other girl's name.
She wasn't from Final Fantasy X.
Luca.
I don't remember. She had like a yellow dress.
Yeah, but Titus, and I remember Waka and Titus, and I'm like, oh, cool, these guys are in here. So I'm like, I'm gonna play it some more. Then 5 minutes was up, and I bought the game, and I went home and played it, and I was like, oh shit, this shit's really good. It's like really emo. I relate to this because I'm a 16-year-old fart, and I think everything's fucking hard right now.
Well.
Was I 16 at the time?
No, you were 14. We're the same age, so yeah, you were 14.
14, I was like
15 maybe.
15, yeah, 14, 15. And I'm like, I'm a little emo fart, and the music is so hard.
You were like a freshman in high school, right? Yeah.
So I played the game and I loved it, man. What about you?
So, dude, I have like a completely different experience with this. Is that I remember that this game got a media blast before it came out. There were commercials for this game everywhere on TV.
Really?
Dude, that's what I remember. And I remember the song, the Sanctuary song, was playing in the trailer, and I remember like there was a moment where Riku's got his hand out and he's like shooting an energy blast at like Sora or something, and like I see all these Disney characters and they have these keyblades, and I'm like, man, like,
you know what? I do remember that commercial.
14-year-old me was like, damn, this game looks really, really cool. Like,
I was skeptic because of the Disney
however,
characters.
I was a freshman in high school, right? So I was like embarrassed to want to play this game. So I was afraid to buy it and play it, and I never bought it. But I have a brother who's like 6.5 years older than me, and he was like 20 at the time, and he probably didn't give a fuck what anybody thought. He bought that game on release day. So, but I remember there were people at school. There was like one dude that I was friends with who mentioned the game, and I was like, yeah, dude, it looks really cool, doesn't it? We were like geeked out about the game, so I felt more like okay playing it.
So the only game commercial I remember seeing, and I was pissed off when I fucking saw it, was Chain of Memories on the GBA. And then they had a cell phone. They were advertising cell phone games.
Man, you're a liar. You remember the original Smash commercial?
No.
The Smash Bros commercial?
No. Not video game in general. I'm talking about as far as Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts. Got you.
Kingdom Hearts,
got you. There was a commercial for Chain of Memories?
Yes. And they had a commercial for the cell phone game as well.
Shit.
So,
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, so I remember seeing that, and I'm like, how's Kingdom Hearts going to work on a GBA? So I never played it, but... Yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't, actually. Because I thought it was something completely different than what I found out it was, like, years later. I thought it was like a turn-based card battler, and that is not what it is at all.
Really?
No, it's like an action card battler where you like play cards and you do attacks based on the card you played.
Well, I remember I played the remade version on... the remake.
Yeah, it plays like that, but on 2D. Like, it's 2D isometric with sprites. Yeah, I like looked it up when I was playing the 3D, the remade, like, Final Mix version.
Yeah.
I looked it up, and I was like, that's what this game looks like? I was like, that is not what I thought it was at all. Like, I always thought it was like a 2D... Or I always thought it was like a turn-based... like a card game almost, like the Pokemon trading card game. That's like the way my brain thought of that game forever. And
that was a good game.
That's not what it was. Yeah, it was. But that's not what that game was at all. So, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, I couldn't stand Chain of Memories, the Final Mix version. I played about an hour and a half of it, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not doing this.
So I remember that game. So Kingdom Hearts came out. Everyone played it in my school. everyone was like, yo, you play this Kingdom Hearts game. Mm-hmm. Some people are like, oh, you know, I mean, guys, this is early 2000s, so everyone's like, oh, you know, this is gay, you know, whatever.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was afraid of. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
So I mean, and then but by the time Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, everyone was like, yo,
yeah,
everyone
it was
yeah.
mainstream. Yeah, no, it was mainstream. It was totally mainstream at that point. I remember that.
But when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out and I played it, because I bought that shit first day, I was like, who the fuck is this Roxas dude? And then you pass that part and you're like, who the fuck are the Organization 13?
So do you want to just like do this like impressions of the games as we go and just go in like chronological order? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I mean, let's finish up with Kingdom Hearts 1 then. So how did you feel about it at the time?
I loved it.
Yeah, me too. I was the same way.
I had no problems with it. I mean, of course, if you play the later games, you're like, oh, this can be improved, but
at the time, it was awesome.
It was perfect.
It was so cool.
I didn't want any other game. I didn't even want to play turn-based games anymore. I'm like, yo, this is it. This
action games of the future. Yeah. Well, look where we are now, Montrell. So thanks.
Ah, shit.
You're the problem. You fucking asshole. Yeah, I felt the same way largely. Like, I really loved the original Kingdom Hearts. I still do. I think it's a great game. I think control-wise, like, it's stiff and doesn't play great.
Yeah, but you weren't thinking about that at the time.
No, but, like, from the story perspective, like, dude, I love that game. I think it's got a really pure story. And, it's like, nothing crazy's happened yet. Like, it's just an introduction, right?
Yeah. But when I play it, now that I know the story... When I play it, I'm like,
it's such a simpler time, dude. Like I was going through the game because I played the final mix last year, 1.5, 2.5, and then the 2.8 collection. I played them all actually 2 years now, 2017. Because they released them both that year, and I just got this hankering to play through Kingdom Hearts before 3 came out to get like a refresher on everything. And I played through all the games in about 4 or 5 months, and it was literally all I played for 4 or 5 months of the year. It was all the games. And yeah, I remember playing through Kingdom Hearts 1, and I was like, dude, it's so simple. It's not simple like from a gameplay perspective. Well, it's
simple from a story perspective.
But yeah, it's like simple from a story perspective. Is that it's like really straightforward. Yeah, you know, it's like there's nothing crazy going on. Like, I mean, there are crazy things going on, but not like. There's not a shitload. There's not like a ton of subplots. Like it's
not any like
There's no like side characters really that are like taking up the limelight. It's just kind of Sora, Goofy, and Donald going on their journey, and you go through a bunch of worlds, and you meet all these characters, and you
gotta get these princesses.
Yeah, you gotta play through really cut down versions of the Disney movies and. You know,
I thought that was really fucking cool.
At the time, I kind of hate it now, but like, yeah. But it's like at the time it was cool, right? Like, yeah. But yeah, so if you want to, I mean, any more thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 1?
No. So I didn't.
And we didn't play Chain of Memories.
I didn't play Chain of Memories.
So we'll just skip over that.
So when did the PSP come out?
2004.
When did the PSP version of that game, or not? Kingdom Hearts, but it was the Kingdom Hearts of what?
Birth by Sleep?
Birth by Sleep.
Oh, that was way later.
That was way later? Okay.
That was like 2009 or 10, yeah.
Alright, cool. So, fuck that.
Yeah, no. So Kingdom Hearts 2 is next.
Okay,
the next
cool.
one. Chronologically, or from release date.
Didn't we skip like one game?
Yeah, Chain of Memories. Yeah, neither of us played Chain of Memories, so this is important because...
So, neither did the rest of the fucking population, like, unless you're like a hardcore Kingdom Hearts fan, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't play on the GBA. A lot of people like to pose like, oh yeah, I played it on the GBA. No, you fucking didn't. You didn't fucking play on the GBA.
Revisionist history, man. People do this with so many games. Where they like pretend they were part of the zeitgeist, or they pretend they like things that everybody hated. You know, like, dude, it drives me nuts.
So, yeah, when Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, first of all, the gameplay was... Well, you know what? My first impressions of the game were like, this shit fucking sucks.
Oh, and it was so disappointing.
Yeah. And the reason I say that is because how we all said Roxas' storyline. Like,
well, so yeah, dude, I remember vividly the day that I got this game. And I don't remember if it was a school night or a weekend. I don't really remember. But all I remember is that I was downstairs in my living room, my parents' living room, and my parents were upstairs in bed. My brother was upstairs, and I had the lights turned off. It was super late at night. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock, and I played until probably 2 a.m. or something like that, and that's enough time to get you through like the Roxas section of the game.
Yeah.
And dude, I remember going to sleep that night and being so upset. I was like, what is going on in this game? Like, I had no context for anything that was happening. It was frustrating.
Yes. And so for me,
yeah,
like,
go ahead.
I lived with like 2 of my brothers, so we had to like share one TV that we had, and like, you know, my parents had the TV up front and stuff like that. So I only had like a set amount of time before everyone woke up before I played it. So I woke up like super early, like 6 o'clock in the morning or some shit like that, and I played it, and around like 10 people started to wake up, and I think that's when I started finishing the Roxas arc.
Yeah.
And I started playing other video games because like my little brother wanted to play shit, and I can't play one player games, and my mom's like, you gotta play with your little brother. I'm like, whatever, man. But, so
whatever, mom.
So I jumped on other games, but I do remember after I took it out the disc tray, I was just looking at the game, I'm like, oh my god, I hope you're not going to be trash. I think I said garbage at the time because I was saying garbage. I'm like, I hope you don't be garbage. And after I played, before that point, I was just really disappointed with the game up to that point.
Well, so this was like the beginning of a love-hate relationship with Kingdom Hearts for me, because I love Kingdom Hearts 1, but 2, this game, I hated this game for 11 years before I played the final mix version of it, and played through all the rest of the games. I fucking hated this game because gameplay wise, it's fantastic. Like, it's great. It feels really good. I love the way the game
controls are really tight.
I love the way the game controls. Like the stiffness from 1 is like gone almost entirely.
Yeah, a lot of freedom in 2.
Yeah, it's a lot more free, and like Sora's doesn't like stick to things as much, and like he's not sticking on the thing you're locked on as badly. It's easier to like chain combos together and stuff too.
I thought his movement speed was a little bit slower, but then I learned the flow of the combo. That's what I'm saying. My first impressions, I'm like, damn, the movement speed is really slow.
It's just because he moves tighter.
Yeah,
it's probably your perception of it because he just moves tighter. So like Sora, you had to like walk in a straight line to turn, and like then you start turning him or whatever. It wasn't like as fluid. It was weird. Anyways, so I this started me down a path of like loving and hating this series because that beginning of the game is so stupid. Like when well, think about the time, right? We had Chain of Memories, and they expected you to have played that game because that game gives you some context of where Sora is, right, and where Riku is in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. And sorry, we're gonna spoil the shit out of these games, by the way. So if you haven't played any of them, I mean, the thing is, you're not gonna understand anything we're saying. So fuck it. I mean, just keep listening anyways. So yeah, you know where Riku and Sora are at the beginning of 2, based off Chain of Memories, right? You know that Sora's like locked in like a coma pod or whatever. Yeah. And Donald and Goofy are with him. And what you don't know, though, is who the fuck Roxas is. He's not in that game at all, as far as I remember. Like, because I watched all the cutscenes on YouTube for Chain of Memories, and I don't remember him being mentioned.
So you did fight the organization, though, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, plenty. Yeah, you fought like 4 or 5 members in Chain of Memories.
Because you fought right?
You were in Castle Oblivion. You fought Axel. You fought Marluxia. You fought, what's her name, the girl with the claws, and then you fought the guy with the giant shield. Yeah. There was the dude with the book who has like that like emo haircut, and then there was the big guy who had, God, what did he have? A hammer, I think he had a hammer. I want to say. I can't remember any of their names because I didn't play this game, and they're not in any of the other games really, so I don't really remember their names besides like the main, like Marluxia and Axel and stuff. But yeah, so you meet them, you fight them, and you kill a bunch of them in that game. Like, you kill everybody but Axel, I think, of the ones I mentioned. Yeah. So that's why at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, there's only 8 or 7 members of Organization 13 in the game, right? Actually, it's only 6. Yeah. Right?
Bro, so
oh God.
So that's the thing that pissed me off about this game. Because I thought...
I get mad talking about it.
Oh, my God. So... After you do your thing with Roxas, you go down the basement. Roxas disappears, and Sora, takes over.
Well, he like goes into Sora, right? He like becomes a part of Sora, right? Yeah.
So that part was confusing to me. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, Namine's like a creeper. Like she's like, Roxas, you have to join with Sora so that you can be complete. Whatever.
So this game is just so melodramatic at this point, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I just remember playing the game and not understanding the story whatsoever. No. And then even in the journal logs, I'm reading the journal logs, and I'm like, because they had some of this past stuff in there that like
that happened in Chain of Memories. Yeah. No, they had the Chain of Memories story in there. I think
I'm reading like the past logs and stuff like that, and they have the Organization 13 members' names, but they don't say they're from the organization. They just have their names. So you have Marluxia, you have Axel, and all this stuff like that. But it's like, okay. And then when you get introduced to the nobodies, it makes sense who they are. It makes sense how they oppose the Heartless.
Yeah.
But when the famous scene to me is when I think you see Ansem. No, Diz.
Yes, Diz. Yeah.
You see Diz, and he's obviously Ansem the Wise. But you see Diz, and then they go to another screenshot, I think, or another cutscene where like Mickey and Riku are following. They're in the world that never ends, or some shit like that. What's the name of that world? The world of no tomorrow.
Yeah, are you talking about the end of Kingdom Hearts 2?
No. They do it in increments.
No, like the world you're talking about is the one at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. That is the world that never ends.
Yeah, the world that never ends. So. Yeah. They show like
you're talking about in the city, right? Yeah, that is the world that never ends.
Yeah, so but they show that, and then they show like the 13 seats, and then like
I'm gonna go on a rant, Montrell. We're getting there.
And then like I think Axel even mentions to you like the Organization 13, but then after that,
it's a flashback, right? Yeah. No, Roxas is. I remember now. Yeah, Roxas.
Okay,
Roxas is having a flashback of something that happened to him, but he doesn't remember.
Chairs.
He doesn't remember.
Yeah.
He's remembering pieces of his life because his memory has been wiped for some reason as well, which at the time we didn't know why, but he's having these flashbacks because Axel is showing up in the present and talking to him, and this is triggering memories of Axel and him talking within the world that never ends in the city, right? Which then triggers him remembering Riku and having a fight with Riku, who we didn't know was Riku in the moment because we didn't know who that character was, because I think the character was hooded, like he didn't remember a face.
No,
right?
He was blindfolded.
Was he?
We knew
in Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't remember because they
knew who Riku was. Riku was blindfolded.
Okay.
Riku didn't know who he was.
I didn't know that was Riku at the time. Like
I did. I'm like, it looks like Riku. So
he had like super long hair and he fucking looked like I don't fucking know, dude.
Actually, you know what? I think at the time I'm like, this could be Riku, but I don't know. Like I was just a dumbass.
We weren't 100%. I wasn't 100% sure.
So and then the hooded person he was fighting, they didn't reveal his face during that flashback.
Okay, so then we didn't know it was Riku.
No, we didn't know it was Roxas.
Oh, we didn't know it was Roxas. Gotcha. Yeah, that's right. Roxas's face was obscured by the hood. Yeah, but he had the dual keyblades.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
And I thought that was, I'm like, oh man, 2 keyblades? Holy shit. And like, I'm nerding out about that. But then, as I started thinking about the story more.
It doesn't make sense.
And they show that, like, this is the Organization 13. Only 4 of you motherfuckers are sitting there. I'm like, or was it 6 at the time? Was it 4 or 6?
Yeah, it was 6. It was 6.
So I'm like, all right. And then you see King, like, I'm fast forwarding way ahead, but you can slow me down. But then you see King Mickey, and he has the Organization 13 hoodie on. You're like,
well, that was the thing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that was the thing. That's the annoying part. Is they introduced these characters as Organization 13, and they have these iconic black hoods, like robes that they wear, and then all of a sudden, Mickey's got one, and Riku has one when we find out about him later in the game, and like you're like, what the? Why does everybody have these hoods? And you find out later, like I think Axel explains it that like it's so that they can go through the realm of darkness, and that's how they come out of those darkness portals or whatever.
And like, I thought
that's how they
said they were trying to infiltrate the.
No, that was them protecting themselves from the realm of darkness as they're going through it. I think those hoods, those robes, had some special characteristics to them that gave them protection.
Gotcha.
So that they didn't become trapped. I think is what the point was, because traveling through the realm of darkness, I'm guessing, is extremely dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Like, but Sora's never done it. We've never seen Sora really do it. So
I thought he did it in.
I think he did it in Kingdom Hearts 2. Like Axel opened a door for him when.
No, I thought he did it when Well, we getting far ahead.
Yeah, fair.
He did it in Dream Drop.
I don't.
Because you remember he failed the exam.
I don't know. I don't remember that.
And Riku passed because he was able to control his darkness.
Got it. Okay, maybe you're right. I don't know.
Okay, but
we'll get to it when we get there.
To it. Yeah.
So, by the way, if you're getting mad that we're not fully like that you know what we're talking about and you think we're explaining things wrong, I'm explaining them in the order, in the context of me at the time.
Yeah,
not right now. Me at the time.
Me at the time.
So this is what I was thinking in the moment. This is what I remember in the moment. And so. You get control of Sora, though, at the end of the 3-hour prologue, 3.5-hour prologue, or whatever. And Roxas is gone for most of the game, pretty much. But
this is only the second game in the series.
Well, so the game at this point though gets good. Like once you get control of Sora, like I think things kind of get like things
they get rolling. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they get rolling because we know who Sora is, and you start seeing familiar characters from the first game, and it's like they're not throwing characters that we don't know at you. But then they meet the organization members, and there's 6 of them, and it's like we're Organization 13, and it's like, well, there's 6 of you, like what? Where are the other 7?
Yeah,
and
I remember you killed my blah blah blah. I'm
like, and it's like,
what?
Now I know what happened to all of the other 7, but it's like at the time it's like, why are there 6? Where are these guys? What is going on? There's a story here that I don't know. It's like it was super annoying.
Did Sora get his memory wiped?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
That's the thing is that, his memory, like Castle, that was the whole point of Chain of Memories, right? Is that he lost his memories of the things that happened in Kingdom Hearts 1. So they don't remember anything that happened in that game, I'm pretty sure. Like, that was the point. Is like, Jiminy's journal was completely wiped out. Like, he didn't have anything from from the first game. Like, all his entries were gone. Like, he didn't, that was like
that was the point of Chain of Memories.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. So they still remember the events from 1 when they woke up. They just don't remember anything that happened in Chain of Memories. Because Sora, Donald, or Goofy mentioned nothing about the Organization 13. I
know for a fact they didn't remember any of that.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure if they remembered, I think they do remember the events of Kingdom Hearts 1. But, yeah, I think they don't remember.
Recoded.
Yes.
You remember Recoded? Recoded? Okay, guys, so fucking Recoded is like, hey, you remember when Sora was in stasis mode?
Oh, yeah.
His memories got fucked up while he was in stasis mode again. It's like, and Naminé is there. If you don't know who fucking Naminé is, she's there because, like, she needs to put the pieces back together. I think she's like the person to do that, right?
Yeah, but isn't she like Kyrie's nobody or something?
Bro, I don't fucking know at this point.
Or actually, no, I don't think she is Kyrie's nobody because somebody else is Kyrie's nobody.
It's that Xeon
yeah,
shit.
we're going to talk about her later.
Oh my God.
We're going to get into this later.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2, like, the thing is, like, in the moment, though, once you get out of this prologue,
I gotta look at this shit up.
Things pick up, and I think the game becomes solid. Like I thought the game was fine, like, at the time. I think I would have given it, like, a 7, probably, because the beginning was so stupidly confusing that it throws the whole story off. But the rest of the game was fun, and I remember the game feeling really solid, and I liked a lot of the worlds in that game. And the game was pretty long, too, so I liked it. But over time, I started to hate it more and more as more Kingdom Hearts games came out and kind of gave us more pieces of the story. Because the next one I played was Birth by Sleep.
Okay.
What about you?
The next one I played, I actually didn't touch a Kingdom Hearts game for a while. After that.
Because the next one that came out was 358/2, which is the DS game about Roxas, which we're going to talk about later. I don't want to talk about it yet. Cause
I didn't play that.
Because I want to talk about this in the order that I've experienced these games. And this encapsulates, this gives context to my feelings on the series as a whole.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't touch any Kingdom Hearts games again.
Until Dream Drop?
Until Dream Drop.
Which was 2012.
Yeah.
I think, on 3DS. Okay, we'll get there. So Birth by Sleep was the next one I played. And you've played Birth by Sleep, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I fucking love this game, actually. This was like, this reignited my love of Kingdom Hearts. This is my point about love-hate, is I was kind of done with Kingdom Hearts after 2. I was just like, I can't, this shit was, like, this was terrible. The story was terrible. And, but Birth by Sleep, though, dude, it, like, had nothing to do with Sora, Riku, none of them. It was completely, like, prologue, separated entirely from everything that happened.
Yeah.
So it gave me, like, a fresh start almost with the series. And the story was so... I think Birth by Sleep story is the best one, in my opinion, because
it definitely sets up the world.
I think the thing is it doesn't pull its punches either. It's really dark. For a Kingdom Hearts game, like... It's sad as fuck. Like, it's horrifying what happens to these characters. Like, Ventus, so it has 3 protagonists, Ventus, Aqua, and Terra. And they're, like, best friends at the beginning of the game. Well, not best friends, but they're all, like, trying to do the Mark of Mastery exam, become Keyblade Masters, or whatever. And Aqua passes, and Terra fails. Ventus doesn't take it because he's too young, and they don't think he's ready or whatever. Terra fails, Aqua passes. And they all kind of go their separate ways, the 3 of them. There's 3 paths, you can play all 3 of them. and they all have different storylines, and they kind of intersect at certain points in the story and things like that. And it's cool. I really like the game from that perspective.
That was cool. When
that was a really cool thing because they did it really well. It's not like the characters do run into each other at certain points in the story, and they have important interactions, but those scenes happen the same way every time, but you have context. Your context changes every time you play a different character, so it was really well told from that perspective. But the end of the game is what the key point for me is that, dude, the end of the game when you go to the Keyblade graveyard and you fight Xehanort and fucking Vanitas,
that's fucking cool.
And Mickey's there, and Mickey just shows up like at this point. He showed up a couple times for Ventus, I think. I don't think anybody else. Oh no, Aqua had met him actually, I think. Once
I thought she was the most closest to him. To be honest with you,
really, I remember him because he showed up when Ventus fought Vanitas.
Yeah, he
during
did.
That game.
I remember that. I gotta go back and play it, but yeah.
So Terra had no interaction with him though.
No,
but he shows up in this fight because the three of them show up to fight Xehanort because Xehanort had manipulated them all, and they realized it at this point in the game, and they're gonna fight. They're trying to fight Xehanort and Vanitas to stop them. Well, Xehanort, who was played by Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace, man. Because dude, he was fucking great in this game.
He fucked that role.
Knocked this shit out of the park, dude. He gave Xehanort so much, just like so much.
That's why I'm so scared who's going to replace him.
I know. I am worried about that because dude, his voice was perfect for the character and he played it perfectly.
I didn't even know that was him until I looked at
the
credits.
When I found out, I was like, dude. Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But he played it really well, and Xehanort goes in this monologue about the Keyblade, and like he just goes into this history of like, you know, there were tons of Keyblade wielders at a certain point in time, but it was really cool exposition, right? And it sets up this battle because it's like, you know, it's really tense, like the characters are ready to fight, but he wants, you know, he's like talking or whatever, and they wait, they listen, right? But then the fight starts, and it's just this crazy. And the thing is, the reason this was cool was because I remember on YouTube, when YouTube first was kind of getting big, I remember seeing these videos.
Everyone thought it was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah, you started seeing these videos of a cinematic cutscene, like the full cutscene, not in game.
Yeah, not in game, but the cutscene. You saw them in armor.
Yes,
and you saw the graveyard.
You saw this whole fight.
Yeah,
no, you saw the whole fight, like as it plays out at the end of the game in Birth by Sleep, and we all thought that this was a Kingdom Hearts 3 secret movie, and we were all wrong. Though it was the Birth by Sleep secret movie, but it was cool. But the thing is, I didn't know that until I played this game and got to that point in the story, and I'm like, that's cinematic, like, and dude, like, that blew my mind at the time, though. I was like, holy shit, that's what this is? Like, I've been playing that game this whole time? Like, dude, it was awesome. Like, it was so cool. And like, the scene plays out exactly the same, almost exactly the same way that cinematic played out, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was really impactful though, because it's dark. Like they lose, like they get their asses handed to them pretty much. You know, and like within the individual character stories, like Terra wins his fight against Xehanort, but then Xehanort still overpowers him and takes his body over. And Ventus, I don't remember what happened to Ventus. Like he goes into a coma, right?
Yeah, he goes into a coma and he loses part of his. He loses himself, and he becomes Vanitas, right? Is it Vanitas?
No, Vanitas is the dark side of him. So they're one being that got split in two. Xehanort split them in two.
Yeah, but you remember he was incomplete because he never showed his face.
Yes, he was incomplete.
Until he met Sora.
Yes, and Sora, remember, he went inside Sora at the end of the game or whatever, and that's why... This is... Okay, so Roxas is not actually Sora's nobody. That's where we learn this, is that he's actually Ventus's... I think Ventus is nobody, right?
Who, Roxas?
Yeah, he looks exactly like Ventus. That's
why his
or is that why Sora's nobody looked that way?
Yeah.
Okay. So Roxas is Sora's nobody.
Yeah, because Sora had Ventus's heart inside of him.
Yeah.
And when they touched him, so in Kingdom Hearts 1, when you turn into a darkness or a heartless at one point. That point right there, you may think it's insignificant, but little do you know, at that point...
It cascades
from, like, your nobody appears. And, that's a whole different fucking thing. But,
I mean, we learned about that in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, that point, your nobody appears. And, Which was cool about that because I didn't play until like the last 2 years ago
when the collection came out.
Okay. What's cool about that is at that scene when he drops down to the fucking, I don't know what it's called, but the chamber, the princess chamber, where it has the glass of the princesses. You remember in Kingdom Hearts 1?
Oh, you're talking about the dark,
yeah.
Like when you drop down and you pick your like sword magic. Or
I thought that was cool because I'm like, so the person that's talking to you in Kingdom Hearts 1, that's teach you everything you know, like, hey, these are the people you're going to fight. Watch out. This is what you do. Click left to do this. That's Benitez telling you what the fuck to do. I thought that shit was so cool.
Or Ventus, you mean?
That's Ventus telling you what to do.
I don't think I ever put that together, dude.
Yeah, man.
I guess that's true. I guess when you think about it, that makes sense.
Because
that's kind of cool. That is kind of cool.
Did you play Ventus first, or who'd you play first?
No, I did the path that was recommended: Terra, Ventus, then Aqua.
Okay, I did Ventus first.
Okay,
and when I played it, I was like, oh shit, like because at the end of his thing or whatever, he does drop down. And he looks up and he's like, oh, I'm in somebody's heart or whatever.
Yeah.
And when he disappears, I think it kind of like reminisces like, oh, this is where Kingdom Hearts 1 steps in. And then you see Sora drop down. You're like, oh, shit. I was like, yeah. And that part was like really cool to me.
Okay. But, that going back to that fight in the graveyard, like, because, Terra gets taken over. Ventus is in a coma. Mickey and Aqua barely like push Vanitas back and get away. Like it's like a struggle, right? Yeah. And they manage to get away. And the end of the game is like you play as Aqua for the remainder of the game, and this is separate from the 3 storylines. Like this is after the game's 3 storylines. So you play as her for the rest of the game, and she goes to Castle Oblivion to put Ventus there to keep him safe because she's the only one that knows how to get through the castle for. I'm trying to remember why. I don't remember the reason why, but I know that that's true. That she knows how to navigate the castle when nobody else does.
Yeah.
So she puts him there to keep him safe, and then she goes to rescue Terra and save Terra, and that's like the final fight in the game. Is you're fighting Xehanort. Terra taken over by Xehanort, and it's such an epic fucking boss fight, dude. It has this amazing music that's like so good, but the thing is that it's sad as fuck because you lose. Like
no matter what you do,
no matter what. I mean, you have to win the fight to finish the game, but she loses. Like she doesn't succeed.
How does she end up in darkness?
That's it. Like she's fighting him and she's trying to save Terra, and she does something that I think gives Terra some form of control back within Xehanort, within the body, but she falls into the realm of dark because he was. I think what it was is he was falling into the realm of darkness, and she jumps in to save him and throws him back up into the realm of light.
Remember that part.
Yeah, she throws him back up into the realm of light, and that I think she had gotten Xehanort out, but by throwing him back, Xehanort was still there and just went back in, right, and took the body over again. Yeah. And she falls into the realm of darkness. And in the final mix version of the game, not in the original release, the final mix version of the game, you play a section of the game where you're in the realm of darkness just fighting a bunch of Heartless. And she doesn't know what these things are at the time. Like, she has no context.
All they thought was the
unversed. That is one thing. That is one thing about these games that, like, at the time, I do remember that was the one thing about this game that made me that annoyed me. It was like, do we just have to come up with these dumb little enemy races like for every one of these games? Like, and they keep doing it too. They did it in fucking Dream Drop too with the stupid nightmare sleep eaters or whatever. I don't even remember. Dream eaters. Yeah. They do it with those too, and it's like, so yeah, it was annoying, but it was cool though in the final mix. Which is, I remember watching it on YouTube. Because we never got that. We didn't get that version of the game ever until 2 years ago, or no, until 1.5, 2.5 came out on PS3.
On PS3, yeah.
But I never played it on those, so I just watched the end sequence on YouTube. But I remember watching it, and dude, it's like depressing as shit. Like she's like,
can't win that
she's
battle.
Alone, and she can't win. And then you fight. You go through a couple sections of the level where it's just like darkness, and you're platforming and fighting Heartless every so often, and like cutscenes are happening. But then she gets to a point where you fight a boss, and this boss is like a giant, like darkness beast, and it like, but it can like make. I don't remember what it was attacks was. It would like make the screen dark or something, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, and then it would like slice at you, and it was like terrifying. It's like terrifying to see, and it's like I think she ends up surviving. Well, obviously she ends up surviving the encounter, but it's like, dude, the end of the game though, like after that, it's just like she's just still wandering around the darkness realm, and like you find out, like I think because at the end she talks to Ansem, right?
I thought it was Mickey.
Or was it? She talks to somebody on the beach in the realm of darkness.
Oh, okay.
I think that was Ansem, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, because it was the voice of Ansem, and she's like, man, I've been here for like 10 years. And
damn, I know she's been at it.
Oh no, that's my point. Is how sad this game is. It's like that's horrifying to think about. Like she's just stuck there by herself for 10 fucking years, dude. And yeah, Ansem tells her at the end of that someone has shown up to, like, Sora's basically become a Keyblade wielder, right? Mm-hmm. And like I don't remember what he says exactly, but he says in not so many words. He doesn't say Sora's name, I think, or actually he does. Now that I think about it, that's like the last thing he says to her because she asks who it is, and he's like Sora or something like that. But yeah, and he tells her that he's like, I don't remember what he says exactly. Something about a warrior of light or something like that.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. And that was kind of the end of it, though. That was the end of the game, right? Yeah,
because you remember, like, they're supposed to be, like, their reincarnations.
Yes.
Like, Sora's supposed to be, I don't know if he's
Ventus's.
And
then Riku's Terra's.
And then
Kairi is Aqua's. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's kind of what they were doing there. And, but yeah, I remember doing all this with this game, and dude, I just love this game. Like, this is my favorite Kingdom Hearts game, like, hands down. I don't even know if 3 is going to be able to trump this game because I think it's so solid all around. I think like we were having a disagreement about the gameplay, but I think the deck system was really cool to me. It like really changed the way the game plays because you don't have to get locked in combos to do damage. Like, you can use your deck abilities to kind of primarily be your way of fighting. Yeah. And that's the way I fought, is like I would get into a combo if I could stagger the enemy, but if I couldn't, I would just use my deck abilities to really do my main form of damage for the most part. Because there's a lot of abilities where you get these like dash attacks that you can do, like where you go through the enemy and then you come out the other side. You can kind of use it as a way of attacking but dodging at the same time. Yeah. And so there were a lot of cool abilities like that, and it really changed the gameplay in that regard. I think the game was stiff. It handled more like Kingdom Hearts 1 did.
I think that's because of the controls, though.
Yeah, well, they were using the same engine from Kingdom Hearts 1 for Birth by Sleep, and I think the PSP couldn't handle what Kingdom Hearts 2 could do with that same engine, so they did what they could with it. But I think it feels better in the final mix versions than it did.
It feels really good.
But yeah, I just love this game. Everything about it, like the story, the stupid little board game mini game, dude. I don't like it anymore. I don't have patience for it anymore. But dude, at the time, I played so much of that shit, like trying to level up and get abilities.
I was older, so I'm like, I don't got time for this shit.
Yeah,
but
no.
I can see why someone would like that when they're younger.
I was in a time in my life too where I was commuting for several hours every day, like, well, not several, but like 3 hours a day going to college. Because I like walked to the train station, took the train, then I took a shuttle bus to school. So I had a lot of downtime on the train, like in public transit. So I was playing this game during that, and so I was playing the shit out of it.
I was playing fucking Monster on my PS4. But anyway,
but yeah, I was playing the shit out of it. So yeah, I love this game. And then the next,
that game when I played it was really cool, and it gave a lot of context to before what happened in Kingdom Hearts 1. It made a lot of the events. I don't know what they did.
Well, it introduced us to Xehanort, and we found out that he's like the mastermind of everything. Yeah. Really, like, because if you put it together, he's Ansem. They basically spell it out for you that he's Ansem.
Exactly,
the one that everybody called Ansem, but not the actual Ansem the Wise. Like, he was the Ansem that created the Heartless that was Ansem.
Yeah, now that part did confuse him. I'm like, what?
Yeah, and then obviously his Heartless had a nobody who was Xemnas, right?
Oh my god.
I know, it's obnoxious. But yeah, so it was cool from that perspective as well. We got a lot of lore there. So, but you played Dream Drop next, right? I also played Dream Drop for like an hour when it came out. And then I didn't play it for real until the final mix came out.
Really? Bro, dude, I couldn't put that game down,
dude,
man.
It was funny. No, it was one of those things where I played as Sora Obviously, you play as Sora at the beginning, and I hated his gameplay in that game.
Yeah.
And I didn't play far enough to get to Riku's section, and I think if I had, I would have stuck with the game, probably.
I like Sora. He was like a caster.
Yeah, I know, but at the beginning of the game, he sucks ass.
Oh, yeah,
because
right.
he's so weak. Like,
Yeah,
he just can't do anything very well at that point in time, because he hasn't...
That game, when I played that shit, man, and I was playing at Riku, and I was like, oh shit, I hope we get to play as Riku more.
Yeah.
Because when you play through that game, Dream Drop Distance, and let me remind everyone, like, I was like, and this is before the final mix, so this is like 2013. So this is before, like, the final, the remasters came out. So I actually went back and watched, like, a YouTube video that summed up everything.
Yeah.
So by the time I played the game, I was like, oh shit, this is like the most current one. Like, this is before, if Kingdom Hearts 3 were to come out next month or whatever, this would be it. But when I played that game, I thought it was really cool that Sora didn't do the Keyblade Master, or he didn't win the Keyblade Master. He didn't pass.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought it was really cool, like, because usually, like, anime games like this, they always like, oh, the hero must triumph. But it's like,
and that's how Sora had been in the past.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So as for me playing this game, like, for him to not pass was very, like, I'm like, oh shit, like, this is a real moment in this game for me. And then Riku passed, who you weren't expecting to really pass. Like, I was expecting him to succumb to the darkness again.
Right.
But then as I played through the game, I noticed how more mature and he was handling situations, like, really a lot better than Sora was, and he controlled the darkness. He's like, he had a lot of dark moves. On top of that, like, the gameplay gave you a lot of dark moves for Riku. So you're like, obviously, if you're looking at the context,
he's still harnessing the power.
Yeah, he's still harnessing the power. He can control it.
Yeah.
And when people were coming up to him, like, trying to, give him scenarios and stuff, he's like, I don't think I should mess with that, because I went down that path before and whatever. Whereas with Sora, he was like, okay, let's go. Like, Sora, no, you're not supposed to do that. Like,
oh my god.
So I just thought that was really cool.
Well,
I thought the Dream Eater system was pretty dope.
Yeah. With you kind of build your own party kind of thing.
I thought that was really cool.
Well, so was the next thing you played the Final Mix after this?
Yeah.
Like the 1.5, 2.5 collections?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So I guess we'll just talk about it here then. Like, yeah, so I played this game in the Final Mix. It was the last game I played before. Well, I played the 2.8 collection too, but actually no, this was part of the 2.8 collection.
This game and then
they had the stupid movie, the Union Cross movie or whatever, and then they had the little Aqua 2 or 3 hour thing that they had.
That was it.
So yeah, I played this in that, and then I experienced those two things after. But yeah, I felt the same about this game. I was actually really impressed with this game. I think a lot of people give this game flack, like undue flack, because
I thought it was
a lot of people seem to think the story in this game is like pointless and like it has no impact on what's happening. And I'm like, how do you feel that way when literally the last scene in this game is literally going to lead into the first scene of Kingdom Hearts 3? Like he's literally leaving to go to Olympus in the Gummy ship, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the opening of Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I'm pretty positive about that. I haven't read about any of it, but like, I'm pretty sure about that. And it's like, how do you think that has no impact?
Because people said, like, it was all a dream. Like,
okay, but things happen to the characters.
Yeah, but like their whole thing was like, none of this really happened. It was,
I hate that.
It was all a dream.
Yeah,
and I mean, technically it was, but it showed.
But the events still happen to the characters.
Yeah,
and they experience things, right? And it changed them in conceivable ways.
It was a test. Like, they told you at the beginning of the game, this is your Keyblade mastery test. Like, this is going to determine who you are this is going to determine if you're a Keyblade master or not.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, Sora didn't. His version, he couldn't overcome it.
Well, so yeah, this is why I like this game. Is that this game was a culmination. The story in this game was a culmination of, I think, everything that had led up to this, like all the prior games.
Yeah,
is that both of these characters, Riku and Sora, actually had significant character growth in this game. Like, we saw Sora struggle.
Yes,
which we've never seen before. Really, it's like there were points in this game where he didn't know what to do, and usually he's just like a go-getter. Like, he just does whatever his instincts tell him to do. And this game presented situations to him where he didn't know what to do, and he failed in those situations too. Like,
so I want people to think of this game like saying it's pointless. I want you to think of it as like, I wish there was a video game or a movie I can reference, but this game dove into the subconscious of both these characters. Like, this was their subconscious. This was in the back of their minds.
Yeah.
And they had to conquer this stuff. Like, you know, if you want to be like Star Wars, this is the darkness inside you that you have to conquer before you can become a Jedi Master or whatever.
Yeah.
So this is essentially the same thing. And when you saw Sora's side, like, these are all the things that he's harbored that he kind of, like, shielded. Like, he kind of pocketed and condensed it and bottled it up. But everything was coming to light, and he couldn't handle it. He just couldn't handle, like, this is all the darkness that's inside of me. Like, yeah, you went through a lot,
even
bro.
with Goofy and Donald there, or actually, no, they weren't there. That's
there.
Right,
that's another thing.
That's
too.
right. I forgot. He was alone.
He was completely alone.
Yeah. He had no one to rely on. Yeah, which has always been his thing. Is like he's like friends are my power or whatever.
Yeah,
like
and he had no friends.
As cheesy as that is, it's a significant character trait of his, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And yeah, he didn't have any of that in this game, and he had to figure. That's my point. He had to figure all this shit out himself, and he is not. He had to come to an understanding that he is not as capable as he probably thought, and I think other people around him probably realize the same thing. Is that, like, yes, he's powerful, and yes, like, he is capable, but it's just he's not where he needs to be a Keyblade master, right?
Yeah, and I think another thing like a lot of people miss too. The worlds were like desolate. Like, I remember fighting in Twilight Town.
Oh yeah,
yeah. There was no one there. Yeah. I'm like, I'm like, okay, I get it now. Like, we're in his subconscious because he doesn't have any. He
remembers places. And, but he's getting images of certain people.
Exactly,
but not like,
the whole the
not
worlds,
everything.
Yeah,
right?
The worlds weren't as lively as they usually. And people were like trying to criticize now. I'm like, that's the whole point of the game. Like, we're in their memories of these worlds. Like. It's just trying to conquer their dark side. So, but with Riku's side, it was like a complete 180 because when you saw his side, he knew how to handle every situation, but it wasn't like he came to the conclusion fast. He had to like go through it and like, oh, okay, I see what you're trying to teach me here. Like, I see what you're doing.
But once he figured it out, he was decisive.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And Sora had a lot of moments where he was like.
Exactly. Like, he literally, there were moments where he literally goes, like, he's like, he's not sure what to do. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he got some situations right, but then it was like, he guessed it. It was a lucky guess.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not figuring it out himself.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, he is just making a guess. But from a gameplay standpoint, I think people bag on this game too much as well. I love the gameplay in this game, dude. The flow motion shit is awesome. So cool. Dude, I did not go on the ground in this game. Like, I did not like I didn't like running. It's not a thing I did in this game. Like, I was constantly wall jumping because you get so much height out of it.
Yes.
Like, the only times I was ever on the ground was during boss fights where they don't give you ways to do flow motion very much, like where it's just a really open, flat arena, where you're fighting, which you get a lot of those later in the game. But yeah, it's like in the actual levels traversing, dude, I'm just wall jumping everywhere. That's how I got around.
You feel like you're in the cinematic trailers, how they be fighting.
Yeah, it was cool. It was really cool. I thought the attacks you got out of flow motion were kind of not as cool, but some of them were OP. Some of them were, but I think the traversal was kind of the main thing I took out of it.
Yeah.
But I love the way it changed the game. Like, I think it freshened up the gameplay in a way that I think Birth by Sleep never did either. It was like,
hopefully Kingdom Hearts 3 like
has some of that.
Some of that.
I hope so too.
I mean,
or at least if it doesn't, it changes up the mobility a little bit. Because I don't want it to just be Kingdom Hearts 2 with better graphics and like more depth. Like, I want it to have more mobility than the other games because I really enjoyed that in Dream Drop. So I think that game gets a really bad rap for no reason, and I don't know. But continuing on beyond Dream Drop. So the thing I want to key on for me, this is where my love-hate of Kingdom Hearts stems from.
So
is Kingdom Hearts 2, like we were talking about, in the context of 2006 when it came out, not having played Chain of Memories and having no other games to play, the game didn't make sense to me. And like Roxas's character's existence doesn't make sense. Axel doesn't make sense. Organization 13 doesn't make sense because you don't have context.
In that game, does Roxas mention Zion or Xeon?
No. He doesn't. He does not. But the thing is, so when I experienced the final mix, I got to watch the cinematics for 358 over 2 days, which is the 3DS game that came out in 2009, I think. 3 years after Kingdom Hearts 2 comes out. And when I watched this and I finished it, I was so upset. I was like, why the fuck did this game come out 3 years after the game it gives context to? Because this explains everything about the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. So like, what the fuck?
So if you're listening, I'm going to give you a rundown of the timeline. So we got chronologically in the game's timeline. This is how the game's supposed to be played. If you want to understand the story from beginning to end. So you got Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, which is an MMO for the cell phone games, which kind of explains...
It's a gacha.
It's a gacha game, but it's supposed to explain...
Don't play it, just read a synopsis.
Yeah, it's supposed to explain where the Master came from, how he built these Keyblades, and the Keyblade War, because you were one of the people in the Keyblade War. There were thousands of other people playing as Keyblade wielders, and you went through various worlds. Birth by Sleep, we already talked about that. So, obviously, Birth by Sleep, after Union Cross happened, Birth by Sleep happens, there are only a couple of Keyblade wielders left after this huge war, and you obviously fight in the Keyblade Graveyard. Then you got Kingdom Hearts 1, and then, which is interesting to me, because I thought it was Chain of Memories next, but it's not. It's 358 over 2 days.
It is, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, that happens. No, of course that happens before Chain of Memories, because Axel's... no, it actually happens concurrent to Chain of Memories. Like, I think 358 over 2 ends before the end of Chain of Memories, but there are events, because there are periods of the game where Axel's gone and he's in Castle Oblivion.
Ah, gotcha.
And, and the game tells you this. Like, there's a number of missions that you do, because you experience the game over the course of days, right? Yeah. You experience the days, like day 1, day 2, day 3, all the way to 358. That's the 358 over 2, right? And he's gone.
Who are you playing as?
Roxas.
You're playing as Roxas.
And I think you play as Xeon at certain points.
So,
but I actually think that timeline you're looking at's wrong, because the Castle Oblivion stuff ends.
This was just updated 2 days ago.
Okay, because the Castle Oblivion stuff ends, I believe, in the middle of 358 over 2. Like, it ends really early in the game. Like, he's gone really early in the game, like day 30 through 75 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, the Kingdom Hearts wiki just confirmed it, saying like that's the timeline.
So, I mean, the end of the game maybe after 358 over 2. I'm not sure.
They say they go concurrent with each other, so they may overlap as far as that.
They overlap for sure, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess they're saying if you want context, go through. Played 358 over 2 days.
That makes sense, because they don't really explain anything that happens in Castle Oblivion in that game. Like, they don't mention anything really that happens. It's just that some of the characters go away, like, because Marluxia's in 358 over 2. So are the other ones that are in Chain of Memories. They're in the beginning of the game, but then they're gone after the Castle Oblivion stuff, because they all die in that game. So that happens. But yeah, if you want to keep going with the timeline.
And then it's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yep.
And then it's Recoded. And then it's Dream Drop Distance.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's where we're at.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, and then the prologue thing from 2.8,
then the prologue 2.8, yeah.
Yeah, okay, which we'll get into that in a few, too. Okay. But yeah, so that's the chronological order.
Yep.
But that's my point, is that 358 over 2... It explains Roxas, like, where he came from. Well, it doesn't explain where he came from.
No, it doesn't.
But it explains who he was before Kingdom Hearts 2 started, and it explains why he has no memory of anything at the beginning of that game.
Why doesn't he have any memory? I can't remember this.
I don't remember why, but it's an important detail at the end of the game, is that I think... Because him and Xeon, he has to fight her at the end of the game. Because she starts to... The thing is, the two of them, they don't know who they are. And they just show up, and the organization accepts them because they can use Keyblades. Yeah. Right? And they wanted that power in the organization.
Okay, that makes sense.
And by the end of the game, the two of them are starting to realize they're having memories of the person they're a nobody of. Like, he's starting to have memories of Sora, and she's starting to have memories of Kairi. And the two of them...
When does Kairi turn to the nobody? Or darkness? Oh, she does get turned to the...
Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember.
Hold on. I got it.
That's an important detail.
Hold on.
But anyways,
all right. So it makes sense now. Because in 1.5, she does get turned temporarily into a. She like goes into a coma, and I think during that coma, that's where Xeon comes from. You remember she turned because
I do remember what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So at the end of that game though, you fight Xeon because she. I don't remember the exact details. It's been a couple years since I watched this, so. But she, I think she starts to like rebel against the organization. And,
okay.
Yeah, and Roxas like puts her down basically. and I mean, not like that. I don't think it's that like dark. I don't want to.
He does,
but she does die. Like she disappears.
People don't die in Kingdom Hearts. But
she disappears though, which is the same as dying. I'm fucking whatever.
She was never seen in any of the games.
No, she's never been in another game. She's never been mentioned in another game, as far as I know.
And that's the thing that pisses me off.
Yeah, she's literally never been mentioned anywhere else, and this is why this pisses me off because this is clearly in. Is it Nomura who's the fucking czar of this shit?
Yeah.
This game was clearly in his head before Kingdom Hearts 2. There's no way. There is literally no way I can see that he made the story of Kingdom Hearts 2 and did not have this in his head before. That this happened before that game. There's no way. It's just that he didn't either have the resources or Square's backing or the people to make a game before Kingdom Hearts 2 was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Whatever happened internally to push Kingdom Hearts 2 out, like I'm sure in reality he probably wanted to have this game out before Kingdom Hearts 2.
Because even in 2, Axel was mad. Like he's like, "Yo, you're my best friend, bro."
Dude,
like,
those scenes happen in 358/2 though.
Really?
Yes, the exact scenes that he remembers happen in that game. Like, dude, in the fight with Riku in the fucking World That Never Ends, that happens in that game. Like, the shit that he remembers, like, that happens in 358/2. Those are, like, key boss fights. Like, that's a key boss fight in that game. He fights Riku a couple times.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, like, so that's why it's annoying to me that this game came out in 2009, because this ruined the series for me for years. Like, I hated this series because it doesn't, like, that huge gap of what the context of Kingdom Hearts 2 was missing for me forever because I never experienced this game. And it's like an obscure fucking DS game that was never re-released anywhere else besides this collection. You can't even play the goddamn game, though.
Yeah, because they couldn't find the source code.
Yeah, you can't even play the fucking game. All you get is the cutscenes, and it's like, and you get these stupid little summaries of the gameplay that you were like what you were experiencing. Because there's text like cutscenes that happen in the game too, where it's just like text bubbles. Yeah. There's no like voiceover. All we get are the actual like voiced cutscenes. We get little summaries of the text bubble scenes. So there's probably more context I don't even have.
I do remember people tried to send like Square had like a little when they were trying to remake the games and stuff like that for the final remixes and stuff. There was like a little blurb on the internet because they were trying to keep it hush hush.
Yeah.
But there was a blurb on the internet like, "Hey, if you have this game, can you please send it in to us because we're trying to get the source code off of it." Like they were really trying to like remake.
Well, they didn't have one either. I remember they didn't have like any of the games.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
that's what I remember. I remember those stories.
Yeah,
which is nuts.
And that's why it took so long for the remakes to come out because they like you said, they didn't have any of the source code in there.
That's crazy, dude.
And I don't know what the fuck was going over there at Square. Like, but yeah, when that happened, I just remember they're paying people trying to get the source code and everything like that. But and so that happens. They never mention Zion, whatever the fuck her name is. Like they never mention her name. I remember watching that movie too, and then playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I played Chain of Memories actually.
It's in the middle of actually. Okay, yeah. So 1.5 collection, right? Is
they actually have in chronological order on 1.5?
Is it because it's Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, and then this game, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, and then 2.5 is 2 Birth by Sleep.
Yes.
And then Recoded.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Got it.
Yeah. So okay. So I didn't play Recoded.
Well, I didn't. I'm not playing that game
because I think it was another card game,
and it was on DS as well.
Yeah, and they remade that game totally remade that game.
No, they didn't remake it. There was the same thing. They did the cutscenes for that game.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't remake that game either.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, that game, I've never heard anything good about that game. So, I mean, watching through the cutscenes, it's so nonsensical, dude. Like it makes. I don't know.
So in Recoded, what the fuck were they trying to do? Were they trying to rebuild his memory again?
Yeah, they were. I think they were trying to. I think they were trying to rebuild his memories of something. I don't remember what exactly. And then all I remember is that Maleficent was in there for some reason and trying to fuck with them too. And like,
I just remember him not being in any immediate danger. It was just like you're going through as a memory. Like it's not actually you. It's not actually Sora. It's like.
It's like a computer program of Sora.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then you're going through this shit.
Yeah. I don't remember anything else from this game. I could.
Let me look up a brief.
Dude, I couldn't care. I really couldn't care less.
I'm sorry, I gotta know.
I just like I don't know if it's important. Somebody will tell me. If somebody would probably say it is. But yeah, I mean, it's just like the way this series has been like released over time is what frustrates me. Is that like they should have done it more in chronological order than they did, you know? Because I still feel like 358/2 is just like so important in Kingdom Hearts 2 to the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. Because after I watched that and then played Kingdom Hearts 2, dude, it was so much more of an enjoyable experience for me. Like I was like, wow, okay, I get these references. I get what Axel's talking about. I understand this memory that he's having. Like, I know what this is. I know exactly what this is now. You know, it's like it all fits together in a way that is satisfying. And it just makes me mad that they released Kingdom Hearts 2 without that context.
Oh my fucking god.
Did you find it?
The game pulled a fucking Rogue One.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? What is it?
Jiminy Cricket organizes his journal chronologically. Sora's I don't know what they're trying to say here. For Sora's journeys, when he discovers a line that he doesn't remember writing, it says, "We must return to free them from their torment." So King Mickey digitizes the content of the journal to investigate the message, only to find that the datascape has been corrupted with bugs. Which take form of black and red blocks and Heartless. Mickey creates a virtual Sora named Data Sora to guide him through the datascape multi-worlds and debug the journal by destroying it.
Oh my god.
So they made it off of one line saying like we must free somebody. I'm trying to see who the hell they were trying to free.
Was it Xeon maybe? Or was it...
Okay.
This shit is obnoxious.
Journal with the journal debug, Data Riku uncovers extra data that contains secrets to the journal's message. Mickey guides the reset Data Sora to an extra world based off of Castle Oblivion, where he's tested by virtual Roxas to endure the pain that he's forgotten of having forgot his friends. Data Sora defeats Data Roxas and allows it to go into the deepest portions of the data. There, he and Mickey encounter a virtual nominee who reveals the real nominee is the one who left the messages. After discovering a set of memories relating to the people tied to Sora's real Sora's heart, herself, Roxas, Axel, Xeon, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus.
That's okay. So this was wait a second. So this was a game literally designed just to give Sora a memory of all these characters?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Man. You could, I mean, you couldn't do that in a better way. I don't feel like it is even necessary, though.
The bug also has to... Okay, I'm sorry. The bugs also revealed to have been an unintentional side effect of her message. Before disappearing, Data Nominee explains that the real Sora's duty is to save these people. Mickey relays the message to Sora through a bottled letter shown at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2.
Got it. What the fuck? Okay, sure. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this game anymore. This shit's dumb. I mean, you could have introduced that in a different way.
So does that mean they're not dead? So Xeon is not dead?
No, I don't know. What I think it. I think. I don't know if Xeon's in Kingdom Hearts 3. We know all the other characters in that list, though, are probably going to be in Kingdom Hearts 3. Xeon's the only, like, question mark, I feel like. on there because she's never been mentioned anywhere else besides this other game, you know. And I don't know. So yeah, I mean, do we want to get into a discussion about kind of? Oh, actually, we haven't.
Why the fuck was Pete and Maleficent trying to get into the Datascape?
Yeah, no, I remember that. I remember them being in the game. It's literally so there's an antagonist.
Like, oh my god,
it's nonsense, dude.
Okay.
So, anyways, so this game, and then there was the stupid Union movie in 2.8, right?
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I really want to talk about is the Aqua prologue thingy that they released in 2017, which was kind of like using the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine and showed us a little bit of what the gameplay might feel like.
Yeah.
And I thought this was really cool. It was not worth $60, this collection. That was a ridiculous ripoff. But
people still bought it, though.
But yeah, people definitely still bought it. But it was a cool little thing. It was cool to play the game with what Kingdom Hearts 3 might sort of feel like. And play through as Aqua again and experience some more of her going through the Dark Realm, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And seeing her mind kind of start to unravel, you know, it was interesting to watch. And then the end of it, though, where they linked it into Kingdom Hearts 1, the end of Kingdom Hearts 1 was really cool. Like, do you remember that? Because the end of that little game was you're fighting with Mickey against a bunch of Heartless right outside of the door.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You remember that? Yeah, that was basically the beginning. That was the end of Kingdom Hearts 1.
I remember that.
What that was? So that was a cool thing. I thought that was really cool. I thought some of the fights were really cool. That like they were really cinematic, and particularly the ones against those giant like Heartless fucking like worms or whatever, where it was like the little Heartless guys.
Yeah.
Like all just like in a giant ball fighting. Like that was a cool fight. I thought there was some pretty cool fights in there too. So it was fun.
Man, I didn't play it. I didn't play it because I didn't think 2.8 was worth buying.
Okay.
At the time, so I mean, I may go back and buy it. Now it's like $20 now. It's probably like $10 or $20. Yeah. But I did watch the movies on YouTube when everyone completed it and stuff.
Fair enough.
And I'm not gonna spoil it for you. But I was spoiled by fucking Twitter because someone released a screenshot of
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, and someone released a screenshot.
Well, I know you did tell me about this.
Yeah.
I know it's about Aqua, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need to say what it was.
Yeah, but that shit pissed me off because I just feel bad for her, man. Like I feel like this is just speculation now, but I feel like, man, she's gonna fucking die. Like I feel like they're not.
Dude, her life is so fucked up.
Yeah, man.
Like her friends get fucked up, and then she gets trapped in the fucking Dark Realm for 10 years by herself.
It's probably more now. It's probably 15 years.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Like she's just walking around trying to survive. Like, dude, it's like the thing is, like, Kingdom Hearts isn't gonna portray it in a really like super dark way,
yeah.
But in reality, like, think about like her experiences. Is like, dude, a day in the life of her.
Because the darkness, like, doesn't it? Like,
it fucks with her,
yeah,
like the whole time
the
too.
Deepest part of your darkness.
Yes, it's fucking with her mind. Like that is what that 2.8 prologue thing is. Like the whole sequence of that is like it's like going through her memories and like pulling things out and creating like spaces based off of her memories, and she's fighting shit that is from her memories. It's like super fucked up shit. Like it's really fucking with her psyche. So it's like I really like her story, and in the sense that they have been relentlessly mean to her, like in the way they've written her, because it's like it makes sense though with what happened, the events that happened, right? It's
I mean, she is a Keyblade master, so she technically supposed to be able to handle all this. But the simple fact that she's down there for 15, like, just imagine you being in the worst place that you don't want to be at for 15
it's like
years.
Hell.
Yeah.
It's like hell for this world, for like Kingdom Hearts' world. This is basically the equivalent of hell. And she's just there for 10 plus years.
Yeah, and she's still like...
And she's still survived and managed to not go crazy like entirely. But, so if she does die in Kingdom Hearts 3, I feel like it's going to be sad, but it's like a natural kind of end to her arc. I don't know if she gets a happy ending, like if she should get a happy ending, you know? Like I feel like she's the kind of character who will sacrifice herself for somebody, you know?
Yeah.
That's what she did that whole game, is like she sacrificed herself for Terra and Ventus the whole fucking game. And neither of them ever appreciated it the whole game.
Come back?
But who?
Terra.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll all come back in some capacity. But yeah, I think that's like the thing is like Aqua's story's fucked up because she's self-sacrificing the whole time with Ventus and Terra. She's trying to help them, and like neither one of them really appreciate her or notice her in that way. You know, like particularly Terra. Terra's like the he's like literally like, go away, Aqua. I don't want your fucking help. Like pretty much.
He's like Sasuke.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And I think it's like it's a sad story, but it's like it's intriguing to me. I think it's interesting that there's a character like this in Kingdom Hearts. You know, because everybody else besides like Riku, and I guess Terra and Ventus themselves, but. You know, like they're so happy-go-lucky all the time. You know, it's like
how long was Riku in the darkness? Because he actually
not anywhere near as long. Yeah. Maybe a year.
I mean, I just know that he's been through some shit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I'd love to see that in a game. Yeah. Like I'd love to experience that in a game. But yeah, I don't think it's been that long. Probably.
Okay. Like, and then so did she kick Mickey out at the end?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she threw him back through the door. I think.
And he was just like, I'm pretty sure he didn't want to go.
No, he didn't want to go, but he was like, we're going to come back for you. I think that's what he said to her at the end.
Okay.
Like, but this is something that people brought up, though, is that like years passed from that moment to when
did she throw him out? Was it at Kingdom Hearts 2? Or
no, it was the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. It was the same scene. Like, she throws them, like Riku never sees her. And Mickey, like, she throws, like, she makes, like, because remember, Mickey and Riku, her and Mickey had to close the door, right? And Riku's on the other side. They were closing the door. Like, you remember this?
I'm trying to remember. I remember the door being closed, but I don't.
Or no, she wasn't closing it. Riku and Mickey were closing it.
That's what I remember.
She was fighting the Heartless while they were closing it. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was the thing, is that's why Riku never saw her, because she was in the distance, like, keeping the Heartless back.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, so I don't remember, though, the two of them, they got out, though.
I'm trying to remember, how did Mickey meet Riku in the darkness? Because that's the whole thing. That's how Riku was like, oh, I found Mickey in the dark, or Mickey found me in the darkness.
Yeah. I don't remember, man. There's just so many plot points.
I might watch this shit when I go home.
Oh, man. I don't know. But, yeah, so it was... I like that little thing, but I mean, yeah. What about Kingdom Hearts 3 though? Like, where are you at with that? Are you like you were at like peak levels of hype,
bro? I haven't watched anything since since they dropped it. Since they said like they're redoing it. And
E3's trailer was the last one I watched.
Yeah, and yeah, I am hyped for it, but I'm not trying to overhype myself for it.
Me either. I'm the same place. I'm actually weirdly like level.
Yeah, right.
I'm not like that crazy right now.
Because there's a lot of stuff they gotta wrap up. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't know how long this game is. I haven't read any reviews. I haven't seen any kind of impressions on Twitter or anything saying how long the game is. But I feel like if they're going to wrap up all the storyline pieces, they need to wrap up with all the characters that they've shown that are going to be in this game. I feel like bare minimum the main story has to be at least 60 hours. Like, I just don't see how they do it any quicker than that. Like, there's just too much shit for them to wrap up, you know? Because we're going to have all these subplots with these, like, pseudo-villains with, like, Marluxia and, like, all the Organization 13 members that aren't on their side.
Yeah.
That are still around now, that are, like, back. Like, I mean...
I thought those were just, like, shadows that you fought in, like, Kingdom Hearts 2.5.
No, dude, they're back. Those are the real people. They're like alive again. That was the end of Dreams Drop Distance. That was the other part. That's why it annoys me that people say like this game's story is pointless. Because remember, Axel wakes up and like he's real Axel. It's Lee. Like he's like, I'm Lee or whatever. You know?
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah, and all of them are back. Like all the guy with the fucking book with the emo hair or whatever is back, and he's in his like scientist robe or whatever. Like
holy shit,
the real humans are back. It's not the nobodies anymore.
Oh,
so those characters are all in this fucking game. That's what I'm saying. Marluxia's back, like, and he was like a fucking mega villain in Chain of Memories, so I'm sure he's an antagonist, right? And then you have the Xemnas and Ansem, which they've shown in trailers already as well. They're in this game. What their point is, I don't know. But Xehanort's obviously the primary villain. Vanitas is in the game. Well, we know that too. Like, that's my point. There's so many antagonists. I don't know how they're going to wrap all this shit up in a clean bow, like, without the game being gigantic. You know, so that's like kind of what I'm worried about. I don't think they're gonna be able to give all these characters. No, fuck you. No, I just don't know if they're gonna be able to give all these characters screen time though. That's what I'm worried about.
Oh my god, this is so stressful. This game stresses me out.
It does. Talking about it stresses me out.
It stresses me the fuck out.
I love it though. I love it, man. I'm excited. I am. I love Kingdom Hearts.
So much data spread across games that try to explain one thing but leave it open to another thing. You're like, bro, what?
Yep.
Like, I'm trying to get my girlfriend into this shit. And even I don't want to go through it. I'm like, I don't even feel like...
this is too much.
Yeah, I just don't fucking... I don't want to fucking explain it to you.
Yeah.
And she was like, when she was playing through the you know, Kingdom Hearts 1, because we were still on Kingdom Hearts 1. Like... The opening scene, like when Sora dropped down, she's like, "Who's talking to you?" And I'm like, "Fuck."
I mean, you didn't tell her, right?
No, I'm just like,
I know who it is, but I can't tell you.
Yeah, like,
you're gonna learn this. You're gonna learn this like 4 games from now.
she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, like, I didn't want you to play that game. Technically, you should have played that game before you played this game, but I wanted you to experience it." Like,
I don't really recommend playing chronologically. I never would.
Yeah.
I think you should play by release. The only exception I'm going to make is 358/2. I think you need to experience that before you play Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah,
because
I mean, she loves the Disney characters, so I don't really think she's like into the story. She just likes visiting the worlds and stuff like that. But the story pretty much right now is easy to follow.
Yeah,
I'm just afraid once we beat this, we go to Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's just like. She's gonna be like me when that game came out, 2004.
Are you gonna do Chain of Memories next?
No, I'm gonna go straight into.
No, I'm telling you, dude. You need to do Chain of Memories and 358/2.
Oh shit!
You have to do that. Those games give so much context to Kingdom Hearts 2. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you cannot play that game and actually enjoy the story without the other two.
I'll have her play Chain. I don't know if she's gonna like the gameplay of Chain of Memories.
No, just watch the cutscenes.
Okay.
Just watch the cutscenes on YouTube. It's like 3 hours. And then you get another 3 hours out of 358/2. So it's about 6 hours of cutscenes. I know that's not like riveting potentially, but it's important stuff. Like, you get important shit out of those games, so.
Hey, I got one gripe with Kingdom Hearts. They did my boy Zack wrong. He's like a little bitch or something. Like,
yeah. I mean, Cloud's the cool one.
Yeah. And we all know how that story is. I didn't even start on that. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't know if I have much more to say. I mean, do you think people can get into Kingdom Hearts 3 without playing any of the other games?
Hell, fucking no. You have to play the previous games unless
the thing is,
some kind of journal in there where you can read. It's going to be like a codex, like the Mass Effect.
Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this because I've been going back and forth. I think. If you haven't played any of the games,
you can enjoy it.
Probably play. I'm gonna say I recommend playing Kingdom Hearts 3. Just jump into Kingdom Hearts 3. You're not gonna understand anything. Probably. You're not gonna know any of the characters. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is going? Why are there 35,000 fucking characters in this game that all have keyblades? You're not gonna understand any of it. However, I think you might still be able to enjoy the game despite that. And if you do, and you end up loving the series, that's when you'll probably want to go back. Because I think forcing yourself through a bunch of old-ass games that have been remastered is going to be a slog. And if you don't actually enjoy them, then you're not going to have fun. And I think if you play Kingdom Hearts 3 first, you may actually want to play those old games. So
I am going to disagree.
Okay.
I'm disagreeing not from a story perspective. I'm disagreeing from a gameplay perspective.
I understand. I do.
So
I do understand what you're saying.
If you play Kingdom Hearts 3,
it's going to feel...
And you love the gameplay, and you're like, oh, the story's dope, and you go back and you play, let's say, Kingdom Hearts 1, you're going to be fucking pissed. You're not going to want to play through that game. They're not. Only reason I played through it because of nostalgia. I feel like they should at least play 1, 2, and then 3. And then if you want to experience the in-between games... But
dude, no, when you throw 2 into the mix, I can't get behind the idea of playing 1, 2, then 3. I can't get behind that.
I mean, I understand from a story-wise.
Like, if you're going to play any of them before 3, you might as well just play all of them. Besides, don't play Recoded. Fucking don't play that game.
Well, okay, I think they at least should play 1. They should at least play 1. And then...
No, but then it's... But dude, okay. The thing is, when you introduce any of the games into the mix before playing Kingdom Hearts 3, you're going to be even more confused. Because if you play just Kingdom Hearts 1, you don't know who Xehanort is, you don't know who Aqua is, you don't know who Ventus is, you don't know who Terra is, you don't know who Axel is, you don't know who any of the Organization 13 members are. You literally know Riku, Kairi, fucking Sora, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, and fucking Ansem, and that's like it. That's all you know. You don't even know. You don't even know the other Disney characters that got introduced.
We can come back to
like Yen Sid. You don't even know him at that point.
Once we play the game, we can come back to it. But
I think
if the game is written, This is what I'm saying. The game is first of all, from a gameplay perspective, it's going to be terrible going back. But if the game is written, it is. I'm just being 100%.
You're right. I agree. I do agree.
If it's written in a way where people don't have to go back and play it, they can just like kind of like understand what the fuck is going on. If it's written really good like that, then fine. They don't have to go back and play it. Or, which I don't know if they're going to do this. We were blessed with the magnificent game that we were blessed with called Jesus Creation of Mass Effect, who gave you a codex.
Oh yeah,
and a guy who reads the codex to you. Thank you guys.
There's too much.
Thank you, BioWare.
They're not gonna do that, man.
They should.
There's too much.
But thank you, BioWare, for
There's
that.
too much, dude. There's no way they can fit it all in there and make it make sense.
Oh my! But I mean, that's what I'm saying. If they got a codex,
and who the fuck's gonna read that? Like, no one's gonna read that. We're gonna read that because we're fucking nerds for this series. You think a new person coming into this is gonna want to read pages and pages and pages and pages of fucking Kingdom Hearts lore?
If someone's reading it to you, yeah.
In the soothing Mass Effect guy voice. That guy's voice was amazing, by the way. He was the perfect guy for that.
Bro, okay, so let me...
We have to talk... We got a sidebar. We have to talk about Mass Effect as a series at some point, like deep dive. That's the topic of the show at some point.
This, though. It was one point during the gameplay session where I did not play the game for 3 hours. I popped some popcorn and then had to read the codex.
100%, dude. We all did that. We all fucking did that. It was, oh man, oh dude. Oh.
Well, yeah, I don't got nothing else to say. I mean, yeah, you guys will probably enjoy it gameplay wise. If you want to learn more about the story, then you just have to suck it up and go through the gameplay. The gameplay is not bad. Only one is bad gameplay wise. Everything else is like
I wouldn't even say it's bad. It's just stiff.
It's just stiff. Yeah, it's really stiff.
Yeah, it's a little shallow as well.
Yeah.
But it's got interesting quirks that the other games don't have, like the way some of the things work. So, I would also say too that you have the option of reading a plot synopsis of everything up until this point, and that may be a way to get yourself ready to go. I just think if you read as much, the volume of things that you're going to need to read, you're not going to remember any of the details. So I don't think it's worthwhile.
If we played this game, we still don't remember shit.
I know, exactly. That's my point. Yeah. Like, if you're reading these names and you just keep seeing these names over, like Xemnas, Xeon, fucking Axel, Roxas, Sora, Riku, like, you're not going to remember who's who at a certain point.
You got Ansem the Wise, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then you have Xemnas, which is fucking, whatever, dude. Like, there's so much shit.
Yeah,
I love it though. We're like we're like gluttons for punishment, dude. Like, why do we all love this series so much? I don't know. I don't know, man. We just talked about this for an hour and a half, by the way.
Yeah, we did.
An hour and a half. We were like before this episode, we're sitting here like, oh, there's not much news to talk about. We're gonna get through this quick. And I timed it. We got through the news and everything and the games that are coming out in 37 minutes.
Oh,
it was
really?
37 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're at the 2 hour mark and we're like wrapping up now. I'm like, dude, man, we cannot finish a podcast in under 2 hours. This is like a challenge, I feel like, for us. Like we're
gonna do it next. Nah, I don't know.
Maybe
so.
It depends on what happens though. Like, depending on the news, dude. Like, it's so dependent on the news. So I don't know. If anybody's listening to this, like, we appreciate you and
definitely appreciate it.
And if you are listening to this, I kind of expect that you like the fact that we're going fucking 2-3 hours in these episodes, because I know I like that in my podcast. So I don't know, but I don't know. You got any other thoughts on Kingdom Hearts, or you just ready to go, man?
I'm just ready to go. Like I said, don't take my word for gameplay wise or anything like that. If you guys think it looks interesting, pick it up, play it, and if you want to experience the story, go back and play the past games. Yeah. They got a whole collection on one disc now, I believe.
Everything, every game remastered. It's
called Kingdom Hearts Story so far.
Yeah, every game remastered with the final mix versions. I think of every single one of them.
So yeah, if you like it, just go ahead and pick it up. It is a great game, despite its convoluted ways they released it. But if you're a newcomer, it should be easy to follow.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. If you want to interact with us on Twitter, Montrell is iTrap for the Hokage, the number 4, not the word. I am at Thundernut01, and our combined Twitter for the podcast is at The Player's Take. If you want to ask us some questions, you can do that at theplayerstake01 at gmail.com. As I said before, if you ask us a question, we will answer it, whatever it is. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So next week, I don't know. We don't have the topic ironed out for sure yet, but we will talk about something. I'm sure it won't be Kingdom Hearts 3 because we will not have played it enough yet. But we may have some initial impressions of the game. But
yeah, I feel like we're definitely going to touch on that. But
fair enough. Otherwise, I think that's it for this week, guys. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. All right,
bye.
Bye.